So that brings us to our session number 76 for this group. So 76 sessions have allowed me to introduce them to the setting of Mystara and the campaign called Wrath of the Immortals. Online today we have, we'll start with Emerist.
Hi everyone, my name is Emerist. I play, well, let's start at the start. So Nasty Stump, turn to Simply Red, turn to Simply Crimson, turn to Captain Crimson, turn to Herald of Vanya, and now I'm just thoroughly confused. I am a halfling fighter with a Napoleon complex and an absolute ego the size of a planet, and yeah, I'm going to do something stupid this game, I'm pretty sure.
Not unusual for characters to do that sort of stuff. So next up we have is Jeremy.
Good evening all. Yes, I'm playing Dimitrios, the Treldaran wise man, sage, holder of wisdom for the party, always willing to guide them and provide them with the appropriate pathway ahead, and give them the advice that they'll need to proceed safely and effectively throughout their journeys.
And also online today is Mark.
Oh, sorry, I had to throw up for a second there. That was just too long. I'm Mark. I'm playing...
I was trying to speak to Dimitri like...
Yeah, I'm playing Bradshaw Dugan, family man, hardy warrior, hater of Dimitri, and general nice guy that likes to get drunk a lot and do stupid things like fly through the air on a go. So.
Fly through the air on a flamingo.
Oh, flamingo, sorry, flamingo.
And do you remember where you stuck the flying broom?
No.
Okay, so we'll leave that one blank. And also online is Martin.
Yes, I'm playing Kenzai Monk. He's an elf. He doesn't talk too much, but he likes to watch. There you go.
And we have two guests on tonight, just catching to seeing what a game's like in the background. So we have Chris and Nicole. Is Nicole, or that correct? Yeah, you can speak up if you want to. Okay, just making sure no one else has tried to ping me in the meantime, because it is interesting when my Skype says I have messages and I can't tell where it's from. So, no.
That was actually me. I posted a couple of nav group things, sorry.
That's okay. It sort of pops up and I can't get to it until I move a few things out of the way. Okay, so in the storyline you had travelled to the World's Mountain in the lands of the Great Khan of the Steppes, and you found out about possible futures that you could interact with and potentially provide a positive outcome. The downside to it is that they all happened at the same time, and then you were given the solution of a dragonborn who meddles with time as a way to achieve all your objectives at the same time. So he cast a ritual which was interrupted by the party, so it's going to have a few unforeseen side effects as it goes on. And you travelled out to the great nation of Alphatian and burnt down an airship. So it was quite interesting burning down the air. Well, it was an entire air fleet that you burnt down. So that can...
Good to hear, job well done.
It can have a lot of interesting side effects. So I'm just about to add in Chris in as well. So we have everyone listening in. Okay, so it just takes a little manipulating at the same time. Okay. Sorry, just trying to manipulate too many things at the same time, it doesn't always work out well. Okay, that looks right, so I'll try to add that and hope for the best. Okay, so yes, they spent the first of their travels through time basically being pyromaniacs, and a little bit of tossing soldiers of the god Vanya off a flying airship. Now, in their second time run, the first time run was for Captain Crimson, the second one is for Trellen. They're traveling to the elven nation of Alphatia, where they are trying to save a unicorn from a beholder. They're not sure if it's a physical unicorn or a conceptual unicorn, because both the beholder can be physical or conceptual as well. So they're a little confused about what they're trying to save and where they're trying to save it. But they've reached the city of Darakan at this stage. So they are part of the way there. So would anyone like to pipe up and tell Mark what he's missed out on?
Or can I just do ah and go sound on the way down?
So, did Bradshaw and the goat end up back at the start of the ritual again?
No.
No,
You left without them.
Yep. Well, no. But the point was that they apparently didn't come back out of the ritual, did they?
They did not.
So therefore we couldn't leave without them because they were never there.
That is correct. But don't worry, he'll show up at some point.
So Mark, by that I'd say that yes, you should be practicing that.
What I would like to know is why was I left out of the ritual and was Dimitri involved with the situation?
Hey, the reason that the Bradshaw and the goat apparently did not come back from the trip to Alphatia, or did not start at the point of the ritual again, was because Bradshaw stuffed it up by inviting the goat. Everyone knows that.
Yes, because they have.
Magel confirmed it during his discussions.
That you actually have a time loop where you have to solve the goat's prophecy from before the ritual started.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So you made the goat's prophecy important, but you never actually got the prophecy.
That's right, I don't know what the prophecy is.
No, because no one's done talking to the goat yet, and I haven't spoken to Harmon because I haven't seen him for a while. So.
Oh no, the goat never got an official prophecy, so you've got someone in a prophecy quest without a prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't see any problem with Bradshaw and Bruce here. This is going to be a wonderful adventure. Yeah.
Okay, so they had managed to make it to Corriglane and take a portal back to Darakan City, where they were resting up for the night.
Yeah.
And
yes, after the journey through the Broken Lands. Yes.
After the journey through the Broken Lands.
And finding the evidence of the build-up of forces under the control of the new Orc leader. Orc leader?
Yep. He is an Orc warlord.
Yep. That have managed to bring all of the various humanoid races in the Broken Lands under his control or his command, and we saw evidence of the fact that they were starting to gather their forces, possibly just to pay homage to him in his location, but more likely also setting up staging points to head into either Darakan or Alfheim. Although we did get suggestion, that's right, when Dimitri was talking to Yem, that the Orcish horde was probably not representative of the beholder. Possibly was, but probably not.
Is that there are many interpretations you can use.
Yep.
And what else was there? Yeah. So
And so then when we got to Corrick Lane, we informed the watch commander there of the amassing forces and the intelligence we'd gathered, and also got given a sheaf of reports and things like that to try and pass on to the head of the watch in Daraka.
you'd also been informed that the western edge of Darakan was under threat of invasion from the desert nomads of Sin at that time, and a lot of the forces that normally hold the creatures of the Broken Lands at bay have been reallocated in that direction.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we're undermanned because they'd heard reports of they're being attacked from as far as the headquarters view, they're only being attacked from one front. We're giving them reports that hey, they're potentially going to be about to be attacked from the north as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not an easy thing for a nation in the middle of others to protect itself on all sides.
No.
Especially for Great Lake dividing a big chunk of their territory.
Not to mention a whole lot of country within their country.
That too.
On the eastern side.
Okay, so waking up in the morning, you're awakened by the smell of burnt mutton.
Bird pork, bird goat.
And you greeted to the sight of Bradshaw on a horribly scarred goat with no fur on it.
Hugging the goat, please. I'm hugging the goat. If I see Dimitri, I want to go and punch him. But
Well, it turns out that that because the goat wasn't actually properly part of the ritual, whatever happens to him is permanent. So setting him on, you set him on fire, and if he had hit the ground, he would have died.
He doesn't get reset like everybody else does.
So did I set him on fire or did somebody else set him on
I
fire?
don't know, you happily set him on fire because you're doing the flaming fireball from the sky.
I missed a lot of last session.
You weren't there for that.
Before.
The session before, I missed that one too,
This-
I believe.
quite a few sessions
Yeah,
back.
a lot too.
Yeah. No, that's okay. That's so good. Okay, so I'm hugging my poor goat.
And you popped out a day behind the others, and you've just spent the entire time trying to catch up to them.
Okay, so that's right. So hang on. So where did he come from? If you get like you described, so yeah. And so he starts waking up in Darraglan or
Darragan
City.
City.
Darragan.
So does this look like a hairless rat or something like a hairless cat? Or?
No, it is basically horribly scarred and burned, and still smells of the burning.
Oh, this is not going to be good. Okay.
And your goat has now a fear of heights because it spent about 10 minutes falling and didn't hit the ground.
Not to mention the fact that it was you that set it on fire, and it knows.
Yes, yeah, that's the bit I don't like. The other stuff I can live with, but that's the bit I just don't like. But I wasn't there, so I
That's right. He doesn't attack you either.
That was the plan you had.
Did I have that? Okay.
Yes, you had a plan. You were going to jump off the airship, light your goat up, and come down on top of things.
I might have
convinced you a little.
Yeah, I do remember that, and I thought I had a chance to change that one, but that
You missed that session, so your previous guidelines were what we followed.
That's right.
crap. So this is how my character plays. Always does stupid things. Anyway, okay, gotcha.
But hey, on the bright side for you, you've obviously had at least a few days or a week or so dealing with Bruce, and he obviously hasn't killed you yet. So
You have had 16 days 15
There you
days
go.
to deal with it.
So there you go, you see.
It's been
And
15
and
days since
Bruce
you've been
still
by
thinks
your
of
goat.
burnt meat.
Yep.
How about now in the city where we are? Was there anyone any sort of? Could I take him to any sort of vet or anything like in that time period that see if there's any way I could?
You were in the middle. You popped out in the middle of Ethengar and had to rush to Corrig Lane to where the others were going, and
Okay,
arrived
cool.
there that night
Yep, fair enough.
after they'd already
Okay.
transported.
Okay. But I'm
In Darrican, there's certainly the options available if we're happy happy to wait. So,
look, I just want to see if we can, one, get rid of the smell and somehow find some sort of fur covering I can put over the top of Bruce, because I feel he's a bit naked at the moment, and a naked goat is not a sight that anyone wants to see. So,
I'm sure iMagic has something that'll do the job for you.
yeah. I still blame Dimitri for this whole thing. Even though it might be tempted, might be a whole problem that I've done myself, I still blame Dimitri. So,
Well, we get what we sort out.
no, that's right. I still blame Dimitri in my head, even though I really know that it wasn't the case. So, but I'm just like getting a bit of a sad look, kind of walking and going.
Dimitri's used to being very misunderstood, and it's understanding that others just are not aware and emotionally intelligent enough of it within themselves to understand the guidance and leadership that he will bring up to you.
Yeah. Okay. I think Clown would understand my pain with the situation. But yeah, look, I'll go, hi guys, yeah, and I'll just be sad and mopey in the corner. And if we've got time, I want to go see a vet. I think I've got some problems with Bruce. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed. It's like, yeah, kind of thing. So,
Something smells good.
I actually feel a lot more kinship because he looks a bit like me now.
can I get somebody to hold me back? Captain Gridden, can you hold me back from hitting Dimitri if he says that the sound smells good? I think so.
I'm assuming that you've come into the Knightsbridge Inn to find us there.
Yep.
Yes.
But Bruce is still outside and got put in the stables.
Yep. And you can smell it from there.
That's right, and the smell's coming through. So, as I say, something smells good, presumably from the kitchen.
That's Bruce, and he's not happy about it, okay?
Really, you really need to walk in and go, that's my ass.
Okay, well, if that's Bruce, he smells a lot better than he normally does. But I'm not certain that's the smell he should have.
No, I'm a bit worried about leaving him out there by himself too. And that smell, yeah. Hey, have we got any sort of sense or any sort of like bicarb or anything like that we could use out of a D&D kind of session that we could actually just get rid of the smell? I'm just asking, I'm looking at Dimitri being the guy that loves magic and might have all those sort of things, but because I don't think I've got anything on my character that, well, maybe if I can drench the goat in beer, would that help, maybe?
Oh, you could. Or make it more flammable.
Oh, geez, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Dimitri could potentially do something that would actually get rid of the smell, but as I said, he actually smells a lot better than he normally does.
He does.
It does, but it smells like something that somebody wants to eat, roasted goat.
And don't worry, you left him with a large Clydesdale.
Yes, with a very flexible neck.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, Barman's horse, yeah. Okay.
Grazzle's horse.
Oh. If I saw
Drazzle's dragon.
Yeah. Well, it looks like a horse.
I would make sure I was in a fair way stable away from Drazzle's dragon, because I know what that. I 100% know what it is. So, if I see Drazzle's dragon there, I would make sure I walk Bruce way, way away from Drazzle's dragon. I don't trust that Drazzle's lovely Clydesdale, or AKA the dragon. So I would even move it to another animal kind of stable.
There's only one animal stable attached to the place where you're at.
I will move it to another one. I'll pay extra money just to keep away from that Clydesdale. That's how far I'll go with that. So.
Okay, though you do notice that all the local dogs are outside the stables as you stable your goat.
I wouldn't be going inside if that's the case, mate. If I get that kind of opinion, I will not leave the side of Bruce, based on the current condition, okay?
You had an interesting journey through the Broken Lands, trying to avoid all the other patrols and everything like that, not to mention all the extra attention that you might have got from the wild animals and stuff like that as you're trying to travel.
There was a bit of a display of a path of like things getting smashed by warhammers and things like that all the way through.
Well, you did make it easier for the others because there was quite a distraction behind them.
Yeah. So I'm kind of going. If I feel that he's not at the safe moment, I'll stay outside and might pop in quickly. Just keep an eye on the door. Say, I'm outside with Bruce. Come and talk to me if you want, and just run back out to the stable. But that's just the protection of Bruce. I'm just get you in the car until things settle down. The smell goes to a more normal smell. The hairless stuff will happen later.
Yeah. I actually go out with you, and I set up my bed in front of Bruce to make sure that I can be a line of protection as well, because I understand how it is to look like a ball sack, and I want to try and help out.
That's right. Especially a ball sack that smells like roasted goat.
Exactly.
That's right. That makes it worse. Ball sack thing is you live with it. You might have some issues, but smelling good enough to eat being a ball sack is kind of just doesn't sound right to me. So.
Some drow are into that,
Yeah, I've heard Dimitri's into that stuff too. But anyway, yeah.
So we are joined by David in the background there.
Yep.
And I'll say that Plowman has joined Dimitri as well. So Plowman, because Plowman wasn't there for the last leg of the journey.
No, like Plumman was there when we were travelling to the Vulcan.
Oh yeah, that's right, he was, yeah.
So what Martin was saying was that Bradshaw's apparently just turned up. He apparently was following along about a day behind us.
Sounds like Bradshaw.
And apparently Bruce smells a lot better than he usually does.
So it still smells terrible.
No, he smells absolutely delicious.
Roasted goat, skinless, no hair, yeah.
Well, I am hungry.
That's right. and yes, Martin just pointed out the fact that the stable where Bruce goes in there next to the Knightsbridge Inn is also where Draggle's horse is.
Ah.
He hasn't eaten a stable boy recently, so you should be fairly safe.
Either that or he's very hungry.
Hey. Bruce is a large goat, and it smells like a roasted goat. I don't like my chances of that and being there, so I'll say I'm still outside. I'll say, guys, I'm just outside. I'm just looking after Bruce. I don't trust anyone, and just go back outside.
So, and you do see Bruce. He does look fairly angry, but angrier than normal. And all his barding is badly burnt as well.
Well, I'm just going to ask Draggle if he's also sitting at the table wherever we are, whether we're doing breakfast or something. So, I guess he did get through the ritual then?
Razzle shrugs and gives you one of those looks of, well, he's back. He's not too surprised, but not too worried about it either.
Do we know if he's going to be delayed a day every time?
He shakes his head, he doesn't know.
God, I hope so.
But he does think that if the goat dies, the goat is not coming back.
Well, it does seem that the, unlike us, the goat has kept the effects of the previous situation.
Well,
which is why it is the burnt looking thing for you, David.
Because remember the first I had on my computers. Saving my life as he jumped out.
yeah.
Okay.
So we're currently in Darrican, aren't we?
You're in Darrican City.
And our theoretical obvious goal is Alfheim in the Cuddleheart Forest, is that right?
You're planning on going to Alfheim, yes.
Sorry to interrupt a second. I would probably have terrible reception tonight. See how you go.
We understand.
Yes, so I've actually just looked at the map again and thinking, we probably didn't need to go to Darrican after having got to Corablain, but if we go to Alfheim. But the going to Darrican does have the advantage of actually passing on the detailed information. So I don't know whether anyone's else interested. Dimitri's certainly first stop will be to provide the packets of information from the Corablain commander, and again pass on the intelligence of reconnaissance that we've done in the Broken Lands.
That is all fair. So, who do you go out and seek first?
So, I would expect I'm looking for effectively Darrican Army headquarters. Okay,
so you go end up at the merchant's prince's place.
He'll even attach his Castilian medal and his commission pips onto his clothing as he's heading into the barracks.
Yep, you are welcomed in directly. Always good having the books handy.
I mean, yes, it's Karameikos army, obviously, rather than Darrican army,
so
but hey.
That is the official picture of the area they're in.
Yep.
And you have no problems getting in. They let you in straight away, and unlike the normal bureaucracy you're used to dealing with, this one is fairly laid back.
You mean they take us through 17 different steps? There's only four different duplicate paperwork to fill out?
Oh no, they basically go, oh, your military, go over there, and they basically tell you how to get through their bureaucracy instead of making you try to figure it out for yourself.
Well, not that Dimitri would have difficulty figuring it out, but yes, certainly that makes things simpler.
So yes, you find yourself in the Merchants Guild Hall, which is their main residence for doing all their stuff.
Okay. And certainly, obviously, Dimitri spent some time in Darrican, and we recognise that, okay, yep, the merchants are the one in control of their military, is that correct?
Merchant princes are the people who run the country. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one where wealth can buy you anything.
Yeah.
So, as you go in there, you find yourself brought into a meeting of the Darrican Diplomatic Corps. Because they currently have a map out on the table with representatives from each of the nations around them discussing strategies on dealing with the master who is coming across the desert towards them.
As in the forces from Sind?
Yes, they refer to him as the master.
Yep.
And he's got one of the biggest armies on record.
Mm-hmm. Do any of them pay attention to me as I walk in then, or am I taken in by a soldier and?
Well, you're taken in, and he does blow a trumpet, and you don't happen to get your head out of the way in time, so he is slightly ringing.
Mm-hmm.
As they all turn to look at you as you deal with this really irritating ringing in your right ear.
Yeah.
So that's the impression you get when they all turn to look at you, is that look of annoyance on your face.
Yeah, well, hey, that's fairly that's resting face for Dimitri. So.
Wyman has a very indiscreet smile on his face.
Is it resting face?
Exactly.
And he then accepts the coin donation from whoever put him up to it.
It'll be a weird thing, like some group gets announced, a couple of short people, a short bloke, a weird elf, and some pompous looking douchebag, and a grinning hulking barbarian.
So everyone's coming with you, Happy?
I believe that.
Bruce, Bruce's still outside if the Clydesdale's outside with Bruce, so I'm not leaving Bruce's side while that Clydesdale.
Well, I suspect that Dragon at least has stayed at the inn.
He has stayed at the inn.
Yeah, so
Okay. If Bruce is a fair way distance and just tied out the front, I'm coming in. Okay. So.
And one of the first comments you get is, has someone served lunch? Is one of the first comments they get as you walk into the room.
So, once Demetrius regained his composure from the horn blast, he'll say, "Greetings. I bring unfortunate news from the north." And Hot waiting a sheet of reports and papers from the Karameikos Guard. So,
A rather pompous-looking elf gestures you forward and says, here, now, boy."
if you're not interested, I'll leave.
Well, he holds his hand out for the papers.
Yep. Okay.
They told me elves were aloof, annoying people and douchebags. Elves are funny as hell. I like it, King.
I have some D&D popcorn to while I watch this whole conversation go ahead.
This is spectacular.
If the elves of Alfheim are not interested in the massing forces from the Broken Lands about to enter, then we have no interest here.
He says, "I'm one of the merchant princes, boy. Why are you here? If you're not going to give the paperwork."
Well, it's not only paperwork. There is other intelligence associated as well.
Can I roll a roller to see how many Bradshaw breaks out laughing yet or not?
Sure. I would put that as a charisma roll.
Well, that's fucked. Because I believe yeah, that's pretty bad.
It is your social standing roll.
Well, I rolled 16 dice and I'm a -1, so that's a 15.
Okay, you managed to keep your composure somehow.
Okay.
Assuming you want to.
I'm more interested in
Remember,
seeing.
PCs can always do anything they want to.
I just want to see if Dimitri gets in a fight. I just want to see what happens. I've never seen Dimitri fight actually in his entire life. So.
Oh, considering the elf in front of you could quite easily be 600 or 700 years old, and he would look the same as if he was 100 years old, you sort of understand how they look down on the lesser races. But I also understand Jeremy's perspective, but that's how the elf is treated.
Dimitri quite happily recognised that, yes, he's probably old, doesn't mean he has to be rude, unlike Dimitri.
So he then follows up with...
Sure. If they fight that Dimitri eats sheep.
He pulls off his glove and throws it down and says, "Are you challenging me, boy?"
Oh, okay. I'm gonna put in.
I have no interest in challenging. Like I said, if you're not interested, I shall walk away.
Can I
give a little shove behind and say yes, he is?
Can I put five gold on the
Hang on. Robin's glaive suddenly hits the ground like what?
You hit the marble floor.
The base of the pole. What do you call that?
The
He
hills
doesn't
or
actually
half.
attack it, he just sort of like stands to.
You mean
He sort of stands
to
to.
attention and putting the base of the glaive against the ground like as a staff?
Yeah, more of an angry don't touch my mate kind of thing. Don't be more challenging anyone unless it's me, thank you.
I do wish
What the fight and don't talk about.
I said I'll put 5 goals on there, 5 goals on the other elf beating Dimitri. So I'll wish that in which we flowers there.
Dimitri will point at the map of the current forces, having taken a quick assessment and recognised the situation they're in, and saying that considering the current status for Garrican, they cannot afford to be fighting amongst themselves or with others or any more people. So you apparently have a rather massive army coming from the east, not to mention an army of monstrous humanoids about to come from the north.
Give me a diplomacy roll from Dimitri.
12 on the dice, I think that'll be 11 from memory.
So I lean around and say that's because he's a coward.
Can I just say that the only time when active diplomacy is being engaged is the time where my literal diplomator isn't playing.
I was going to say, because I
You
think,
put
like,
Belloc on a horse, I'm out.
Don't worry, that's coming.
this dead doesn't have a direct diplomacy role, but it's got persuasion, which they say is at minus
Persuasion
one,
is
so,
good.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So total of 11.
Okay, so you hear a banging from across the table as a halfling pushes his chair out, picks up a pie and throws it at the elf. And manages to hit him directly in the side of the head.
Well, Dimitri will toss the report upon the table and walk out. If this is Garrick's attention, if this is their ability to be able to fight, they're lost cause anyway.
He
Where did
says,
you get the pie from?
it's a halfling.
Could be a pastry, man. Yeah. Bacon pastries, yeah.
He says, excuse me, sir, before you leave, can you give us an update on it? I apologize for the rudeness of my friend. He hasn't slept for, well, I don't think he ever sleeps.
I know the feeling of not sleep. Having just come to Broken Lands.
Coward.
What can you tell us of what's happening there? I try to be the voice of reason on this council, but sometimes it requires throwing things.
Well,
I often agree with this, only usually it's my ex.
well, the reports there from
This is
the
the smartest rule that I've ever seen in my life. So sorry, Dimitri. Look, this is all important, but damn, wow, you're smart as wood.
Dimitri will accept the compliment.
I'm talking to you. Shut up.
The halfling bows towards Plowman and he greets you fluently in Ethengarian and says, "Thank you, Horsemaster."
Plumber says in Ethengarian, shit a brick. That midget speaks Ethengarian.
It then follows up with, "I'm not here. We're in a council meeting."
Shit a brick. I like him. Anyway, Dimitri, carry on. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry to you. Go to hell. Carry on. Oh, wait, there.
The reports there are those from the guard captain at Cohen Lane, giving the information that he's got available. However, myself and these others have recently travelled from the plains of Ethagar through the Broken Lands into Cohen Lane. We departed, I think we left from there yesterday. And during our travel to the Broken Land, we saw the evidence of the build-up of all the various tribes and races within those lands having come under the banner of an orcish warlord, and a staging point a mere less than a score mile from the boundary with Paraguay.
Bella throws a piece of bread at Dimitri's head.
And Mark, you were about to ask something?
Was that Orcish Lord the same Orcish Lord that stole my Warhammer?
No, different nation.
Cool, I was going to say, and the stupid bloody Warhammer, and I was going to say that, but that's alright.
You can throw that in anyway, just to confuse people.
I will do that, just say. And he stole my Warhammer at the end, I'll say.
Well, what's new with that?
I throw a piece of bread.
Yeah, I heard he kicked a puppy once.
Then I throw another piece of bread. Keep throwing pieces of bread at Dimitri. Yeah.
Okay, while you're talking...
These others thing. We're your party. We're your friends. We're your peers. You trusted allies, not these others.
Oh, good. While you're talking, they have a couple of people going through the paperwork you brought. And one of them looks like he's got a long full beard and thick glasses. Looks like he's in his about. Probably say he looks like he's in his 60s for a human.
Gandalf! Does the map they've got on the table cover the Broken Lands as well, or is it only focused on the western portion of Darrican?
It does cover a large area, so it's probably more along the lines of that map on the side there, which I will bring up.
Yep. Well, then as part of that map, as part of Dimitri's report, he will have grabbed a few figures that hadn't been currently assigned at that point in time and indicate the forces that have been that were spotted and assumed throughout the Broken Lands.
Okay, so you see,
I'm such a nerd.
you have quite a few different armies arrayed on the Galantine side of the Broken Lands. You have quite a few of them on the west side of Lake Amzarak to try to discourage the Master from bringing his forces towards them.
Mm-hmm.
The elves are currently mobilizing to provide assistance, as are the halflings of the Five Shires.
I cringe when I hear that. Can I cringe when I hear that? Just,
You can if you wish.
Only if they're not actually being labelled, but just and these are the forces arrayed on the map.
Rachel, are you okay? You look constipated.
They comment that the dwarves, as usual, are staying out of things.
I give that look of like, if you only knew the real story kind of thing. It's like, yeah, but I'm not. I do glances over to Captain Crimson occasionally, going like a kind of look of like, look what you've started, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, but that's because dwarves can't get over large steps.
Can you say that loud or not?
Absolutely.
Well, I was going to say, Bradshaw wasn't talking out loud, he was only looking, so
Yeah.
surely there was no specific comment to reply to.
No, that's because they said the dwarves, usual, aren't involved.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They have been invited to a war and decided to decline.
Because I'm assuming there's some large steps.
I rolled a 10 on my charisma. Do I hit him, Martin?
That's up to you.
What's the? Well, I suppose anything above a 10 would be. I wouldn't hit him. Anything below would be hit him. Okay, does that sound about right?
That sounds fair.
Cool. Okay, you're lucky I didn't hit you. They were very close there to Captain Crimson.
They have put
I
out
step up on a step so you can't reach me.
They have put out a call for people to help, and they're hoping that some of the forces from Irendi might be able to join in with them, considering they're on good terms with the Five Shires as well. So they're hoping that they can get a couple of groups to assist, or at least stop the Master from bringing ships around the Etruscan clans.
Looking at the forces that are arrayed for the Master, is there evidence of the Master using monstrous troops?
There are probably look like gnolls, horse, cavalry, and swordsmen as the main forces, as well as artillery groups. Not saying what sort of weapons they use, though.
Yeah. And okay, it's like, is Dimitri aware of who the Master is reputed to be?
No, he's not been discussed as far as Dimitri knows, because he's from a far away part of the world.
Yeah, and I think we've been, even before we started ducking around, we hadn't actually been around Glantry in a little. We came from Glantry, didn't we? That's right, most recently. And then went down through the Ethingar Khanate, yes.
The Etruscans and the people of the Western Darrican are those who would have known about the Master more often.
Yep. So, looking at those forces, and Dimitri will ask the question, do we know exactly who the Master is or what he is?
All they know is he is a major cleric of some sort of entropic god. They don't know which god he serves.
Has anyone actually seen him? Is he human or humanoid?
He wears robes. He doesn't show himself.
So is he in command of all the monstrous races?
Not the ones in the Broken Lands.
He's in command of armies to the west.
What does that mean?
Basically, more people than exist in the region that you're living in.
So, like off the map, he's talking west off the map. It's visible. So he's been seen at least in robes. So he's definitely not likely to be a beholder.
They hope not. If he is a beholder, that would be quite bad. Okay, so that map gives you an idea of, if you can see roughly where that hand's circling, that's where you are.
That's what the map we were just looking at was.
Yep.
That area.
The master controls this area.
Right.
So it's actually a larger surface than everyone.
The entire world.
Yep.
Alright, so on what basis is this collective being brought together to discuss defending these realms? Like, what information did they get that has triggered the mobilization of all these forces?
Well, they started invading the eastern border.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that those races across on that western side have long been a problem, but have normally been sort of warring tribes amongst themselves. So it hasn't been a major issue for Darrican or the rest of the known world. But its master has managed to bring them all under control, a bit like, but to a much greater extent, our Orcish warlord in the Broken Lands. That's managing to unite the Broken Lands forces.
Or the Great Khan of the Ethengar, who has united all the horse tribes.
So,
each one of them is considered a threat by most of the other countries.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? And this is not going to be about steps and dwarves, I swear.
All good.
Does anyone else, and this can be in character, does anyone else see a pattern emerging? That these things that we're dealing with are a single man bringing together groups of, enemies, and perhaps that could be part of the manipulation that we're trying to stop.
I'm so glad you've caught up, Crimson.
Yeah,
I'm very short.
Bradshaw goes, yeah, that seems like how...
A piece of bread hits Captain Crimson in the head.
I don't know, I don't do anything to any of that stuff, so...
How do you hit me in the head?
Tossing a piece of bread, he's saying.
Can I catch
A piece of bread gets thrown at him.
Yes, it's got jam and other stuff on it for you.
So yeah, Crimson's a halfling. He actually turned around and caught in his mouth.
Yeah, I just catch it, start chewing, and I say thank you.
You don't need arms and hands and feet for that kind of stuff. So.
Dimitri also turned to the elf, assuming he's the only elf in the room.
There are a couple of elves in the room, actually. Most of the others are standing in the background, dressed more in forester outfits, whereas the one who was talking to you was in silks and long cloak and that sort of thing.
That's right then. So having asked the question about, or made the statement, okay, so the master is not unlikely to be a beholder, and the response of God, I hope not. Then he'll turn to the elf and say, and you've not heard of any rumours or concerns about beholders within Alfheim itself, have you?
I've never, haven't been in Alfheim for quite a while, he says. I moved to Darrican to set up my business.
So you have no knowledge about whether Beholder is currently marauding the land within Alfheim itself?
He turns to the other elves and starts asking them in Elvish, what do they know about a Beholder in their lands? And they look surprised and nervous and say there hasn't been one for about 50 to 100 years.
Dimitri will reply in Elvish to say that I do not overthink at this stage. There's just some rumours or portents that it may be a concern, but it's unlikely to be a visible beholder in itself.
They do
Really can't rule it out.
They do have spontaneous appearances of aberrations in their forest. So a beholder appearing is not unusual.
Where would be the most likely part of Alfheim for it to appear?
They said the bad magic's places.
What does that mean?
As in, like throughout Alfheim, there's a number of spots that are marked on the map that are kind of places elves don't want to go. So,
Well, they guard it, but they don't live there.
Yeah, as a previous character of mine would know all this, but I know kind of what you're talking about, so yeah.
So is that all the bad magic places?
So there are...
in white, I think.
No, the ones with the red skulls are bad magic places.
Oh, yeah, but I didn't have it zoomed in at the moment, so I sort of, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to throw the piece of bread towards and at the head of the noble diplomatic halfling.
He catches it and thanks you for it.
Oh, man.
So Dimitri will continue talking to Elvis, in Elvis to the Elven Pathfinders.
Say my name with the Russian accent.
Clan, waiter of halflings.
Let Jeremy speak. So what were you saying, Jeremy?
Yeah, so Dimitri's continuing now to ignore the elf in the silks and talk to the Pathfinders and inquire the fact that part of the rumour or prophecy that we're currently investigating suggested a beholder killing a unicorn. I expect that unicorns are certainly significantly more common than beholders within Alfheim.
They say that they do have a community of unicorns in the forest, but unicorn is also the symbol of some of their gods.
Absolutely, no. I do recognize. So I suspect that the portent is much more symbolic than than realistic, but it is wise to rule out the potential of a literal beholder killing a unicorn.
Well, they would
and if
say...
that gives us three places to go to.
They would think that if a beholder was to appear, it's more likely to appear in Thornbrush and end up at the Sumpin Weir.
Thornbrush.
Follow the river.
Where
the river? Yep, okay.
Where are the Knightsbridge inns? Is it just in Alfheim?
Alfheim City, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why we went to Darrican, wasn't it? The fact that we could go from Corringlain to Darrican and direct to Alfheim rather than having to walk from Corringlain to Alfheim. That's right.
Yeah.
So, the unicorn settlement or the major congregation of unicorns within Alfheim, is that anywhere near Thornbush?
They don't have one location they travel.
Understandable.
And you sort of get the feeling that even if they did have a location, they wouldn't have told you.
I was expecting that one too. So,
could we ask?
I was used to see just how much intelligence Dimitri could get out of them before they thought, "Hang on, who the hell are you to actually ask these sort of questions?"
Well, could we ask if there's a way to contact them?
Surely they give away trade secrets.
Well, to you, they see you as an elf, but they don't know where you're from because they don't know your family.
No.
And they also state
past.
that they have lost a bunch of their elven heroes recently trying to save the Tree of Life.
Yes, I'd heard about that. Whereabouts is the Tree of Life exactly?
They say, unfortunately, that's also a
trade secret.
No, it is a secret kept by the tree keepers of Alfheim.
But surely, if someone is attacking it, it would be known by the enemies of Alfheim. and therefore, in order to defend the Tree of Life, it would be useful information for those like myself who want to protect it.
But are you still talking? In Elvish across this war room of the Darrican? So the Pathfinder's on the other
in
side.
Elvish across the room.
And they do talk across the room, saying they are not tree keepers and they are not privy to that information themselves.
Okay.
Only champions of the clan or the servants of the tree are given that level of information.
And could they be found in Alfheim town?
Yes, they can be found in each of the major settlements of the forest.
Cool, thank you.
While you guys are talking in Elfish Weeaboo, Larman lines up two pieces of bread, one to Captain Crimson and one to Bradshaw at the same time, and goes for the shop.
If you guys are bored, you could leave.
And you do also see, while they're having that discussion in Elvish, the halfling is currently talking to a couple of Ethengarians near the table, discussing whether or not Ethengar might be able to help them, but hearing that Ethengar is currently at war with the Haldanic territories to the north.
Yeah, Larman is very much listening to that, but also chunking bread at these two.
And Dimitri's happy to interject additional information at that point. So he's quite happy and capable of holding on multiple conversations at the same time. So he can point out the fact that, yes, the Ethengarians have recently congregated at this location, and they'd suffered a great loss. But the Haldanic Knights, there'd been further incursions.
He says they're literally coming full-on armies attacking each other at this stage. The full forces of both nations are fighting each other. Wendar has been abandoned by the Haldanic territories to the undead armies attacking it.
You finished writing that question? Okay.
Well, as I said, we only left Ethengar where they gathered all their forces to meet the High Khan just over 2 weeks ago.
Well, they managed to get through communique via magic.
So these events have occurred within the last 2 weeks?
They have, yes.
Right.
And Emrys was going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, can I approach the halfling?
Yep.
Merchant guy? And just
he says,
myself,
Captain Crimson, how are you doing?
Good. I just wanted to let you know I'm on this mission. However, I have got a ship and some resources elsewhere. If you like, I can write you a letter so that you can requisition my ship for supplies or anything like that. I'm very happy to make that available to you.
He would be very impressed with that because he's been communicating with the pirate fleets that you're part of, and most of them haven't been as receptive of his communiques as he'd like.
Yeah, not only will I write him a letter to requisition the ship, but I can also write a letter to the a few of the members of the pirate fleet that I know to make promises of payment in exchange for service to help out in this thing. Essentially, I want to be some lubricant for the social, endeavoring he needs to help in the battle.
Has he made lubricant out loud or not?
Absolutely.
I will point.
Enough excuse to say lubricant.
So, Emrys, I will point out that if you tie up the forces here, you won't actually have them in one of your other storylines.
Remember,
I gun resets every time.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
All the events happen simultaneously.
Right, well, I haven't used my ship yet, have I?
You have not, but if you use it here, you can't use it later.
He's a halfling. No, I'll give him my ship, and I'll offer him a letter of introduction from myself for the contact with the other pirates. I won't go the step further. I'll just give him a letter to requisition my ship, and for use of the funds via the ship to purchase any goods needed, and also I'll give a letter of introduction.
Mm-hmm. He's happy with that.
And I'll probably go and sit down at a table somewhere and start doing that.
Okay, so you have quite a few people provide you with scrolls and inks so you can actually write it out officially.
Absolutely, and that should hopefully get us a little bit of goodwill for our stuff as well.
when Dimitri is surprised at the fact that the battle is occurred, Lyman immediately notices and put out the high level of mobility within the Ethingarian forces, and gives some detail layout on exactly how that would have been deployed. So, and with such urgency.
So you do find out from the Ethingarians there that it is a battle on horseback between two armies on horseback.
Yeah, wow, a battle on horseback. That'd be nice.
I thought you'd love that little note there for someone who hasn't actually fought on his horse yet.
Yeah.
It's only been 50 odd sessions.
Someone's gonna die.
With the discussion of the fall of Wendar, Dimitri also ensure that the...
Well, Wendar hasn't fallen, it's falling to an army of undead.
Okay, yeah, it's something that, Dimitri will have a look at the layout of the forces in around Wendar and Borogravia.
You can't see the forces there, you've just been told that the Haldanic troops have moved out of Wendar to support the elves and have headed towards the Ethingarians.
Okay.
Yep.
Lyman asks the Ethingarians about the ongoing conflict with the orcs to the north as well. Is that still happening?
The orcs to the east haven't been any trouble since they migrated north, but there's still issues with orcs to the southwest near Galantry, and they are still.
Because there's no orcs to the north, Lyman don't care.
They say that the Khan has managed to convince the Wolf Riders to join them. The Orc King has managed to convince the Goblin and Hobgoblin Wolf Riders to join the Orcs instead of the Khan. So that means that the Orc Warlord now has quite a mobile force at his disposal, because you've fought them in your times, and they are terrifyingly brutal.
Yeah, so the Uyghurs being unfortunate for Goblin and Orc basically their entire existence, even more than they fought other Ethingarians, which is surprising. That is some news. Okay.
And they're normally based around the edges of the north of Darrakan, and they've all migrated into the Broken Lands to join the
York Warlord.
York Warlord.
Yeah, awesome. Lyman also asks the Ethingarians how the Uyghurs were faring in the battles against the Alphatians.
Not too well, considering they've gone into it with despair. Having
not surprised.
Yeah. Having lost the hope of the succession. So the one most likely to succeed, the Great Khan, died and made them all unhappy with their choices.
Oh, so that the princess that killed herself was actually specifically a Uyghur, was she?
Well, she was related to them, yes.
Right, okay.
Martin,
Yeah.
not for this interaction that we're having, but when I finish my notes and things, can I walk out with the book of Simarak?
Mm-hmm.
And when we're all finished with this, can I attempt a conversation?
You could. And
cool.
You also hear inside about how the giants surprisingly are not attacking anyone for... they would thought that they would take this opportunity to attack other nations. So there is some sort of question about that. but they haven't really heard anything about the giants since they migrated to near Karameikos, Rockholm, and the Northern Reaches area. But that might also be why none of those people are sending troops to help.
Yeah. In this situation, I believe no news is not good news.
Yeah, no news is not good news.
Well, how about we kind of put a, we say, next time we can do some things around trying to get all those orcs and other monstrous races to somehow intercept all the troops from the west. Would that be okay?
Well, in
Are
comparison...
you saying this in the middle of the conference room, or?
Well, what languages do we speak?
So while you're chasing that up, I'm just going to duck to the bathroom, so keep asking your questions.
Well, so like whilst we have a variety of languages within the party, I'm not sure we've got that many all common amongst us, but also remembering that Darrican is a rather multicultural city of merchants, you have a reasonable expectation that most of the people in this room can speak a number of common languages.
Every language.
Well,
Yeah.
Like the fact that we were
I'll
speaking
speculate
Elvish.
about that, and we can talk about it later.
I was going to say, the fact that we were speaking Elvish to the elves, Dimitri certainly had no expectation that was a private conversation between the elves and you. So.
Yeah, waves.
But yeah, so I suspect that generally speaking, talking about next time in open company would generally be considered a bad option.
Okay.
Yeah, but this party is full of weirdos. If we just be another conversation, probably just right off.
Oh no, so I've got no concern that the characters quite well do it. But as I say, from a player perspective, just understanding that situation, yeah.
Well,
Also the other characters, if you want to say the other characters in the room, you can probably just write off this party of mystery next to a bunch of weirdos.
Yes, obviously all work very well together.
Yeah. Oh yes, that weird elf is talking about time turning. What a moron! He's obviously insane. Also, Jeremy, could you be any more? Sorry, could Dimitri be any more of a douchebag? Elves start talking, so he interjects in Elvish.
I try hard.
Oh. I mean, okay.
okay, so one thing that Dimitri does notice, and if any of you who are looking at the map also notice, is there's no forces for any of the dragon empires that are supposed to be in the region.
I believe some elves know a bit more about that than we do.
And
I miss those elves.
But we haven't actually heard any specific information about the dragon armies in recent times for the party, have they?
just that they all went north.
Sorry?
All the dragons went north as far as everyone knows.
No, that's right. Like, it's the sort of thing that and it's not like they were particularly considered a unified force in previous reckoning, were they?
You've never actually spoken to one of the councils, and you do see that some of them are asking each other, has anyone heard from the dragons?
Okay.
Because you do also ask them, you do hear from them that they are surprised that they've allowed the giants to congregate.
Oh, the surprise the dragons allowed the giants to congregate?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the giants congregated after the dragons migrated.
Yep. But yeah, okay, certainly Dimitri and, as far as I'm aware, this party have had very little interaction with the dragons and their movement until obviously very recently when we come across this vessel.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got no reason to necessarily connect him directly with the movements of the dragons that we hear stories about, except for the fact that he's a dragon kid. So, but hey.
Yeah, it literally looks exactly like a dragon. I mean, what could possibly be?
But in the same sort of way is that it's not like Turalian necessarily can speak for the forces of the elves.
That's right. I mean, good. We just wouldn't believe it.
So you know, if you guys were aware, from our limited interaction with Gavel so far, he's not necessarily indicated that, oh yes, I'm actually a spy for the Dragon armies that goes around places.
Well, I mean, yeah, Dimitri, it's open-ended about where his loyalties lie, but...
No, everybody should know where his loyalties lie.
Dimitri, of course.
He's like with Dimitri.
Yeah.
But the problem Dimitri has facing that is the recognition that, hey, if the world burns, what's the point of winning?
There's no point being right if there's no one to tell you right.
So, in that sense, he's got to try and save the world.
I don't know, Clyde may sacrifice the world just to earn Dimitri.
Alright, so...
Okay.
If we move?
It is
Yeah,
okay
so
to move.
I expect that the War Council will continue for hours. Certainly in Dimitri's case, he's working on the idea of, hey, this was designed to be a relatively short stop, hand over reports, give a quick update from his own personal intelligence. Obviously, assist them, provide them appropriate plans, everything like that, now that he's come in the situation, and then he'll be
Top up on the bread.
but then, yeah, his intent would be to depart the room within the hour type stuff.
Yeah.
So that we can keep moving on, especially now that we've got some more information about likely locations, if it is a very literal portent that we're chasing down. So
they do start grilling you on the reports, what you know of the Broken Lands region and what's happening in Ethingar before you leave.
Yep,
Oh, now
and okay.
Well, it takes them a while to read the reports.
And certainly, yes, Dimitri is able to provide accurate, succinct for Dimitri indications of exactly everything that was found. And as I say, he already updated their map as to indicating the locations of forces and things like that. So.
Okay, so takes you about an hour to get through it all, but you then duck out while you can.
Cool. And then returning towards the night with an inn.
Yep.
Is there anything that people wanted to do in Darrakan before heading off towards Alfheim?
I need to see a bit.
When it's appropriate, I wanted to sit and have a chat with my book.
Because obviously Darrakan is a prime city if you wanted to buy anything or do any of those sort of shopping trips and stuff like that. So.
I'm looking for a sea of vet and possibly a full fur kind of cover for Bruce to make him feel a little bit better.
Some fur-lined barding?
Fur-lined barding, because the other barding I have to chuck out, I got a feeling. So.
Well, it is your family barding.
Yeah, so the other barding's probably had its time. It's probably a bit ratted, I believe. So I'm looking for some new barding, but also get a vet to check out Bruce and see if there's anything like healing kind of things that might help.
So Bradshaw's throwing away more family heirlooms. Is that what I'm hearing?
It wasn't a family heirloom barding, no. So, but
apparently it had all your clan markings on it and everything.
Did it?
Yeah.
That's what Martin just said.
No, hang on. I never got any barding for Bart. So
You did have a character have a wedding recently.
Oh, so not only is it family heirloom, but we're talking wedding gift.
Yep, wedding gift.
Yeah, that sounds like Bradshaw. Throw it away.
Yeah, fine. I'll throw it away. It's like,
I'm sure your character's wife won't mind giving it to you that way.
look, she just beat the shit out of me. It's the way it usually works out, so I'm used to this by now. So it's a very kind of one-sided relationship where she's boss and I'll just do whatever she says. So I will try to replace it. If I can find, I might store the actual burnt barding somehow in the bag of holding I've got. But I would make sure I get some new barding and make sure I give them some sort of like healing saves and saves and something like a rub over Bruce just to make him feel a bit better, kind of thing. So, and see if there's any way I can get hair growth back on the goat.
Okay. Okay.
That's cheap. Gotta go to the goat thing.
So are you getting all this from the iMagic store?
No, I'm going to a vet.
Okay, you find a vet, and the vet goes, "What the hell is that?"
Okay, this is a Rockholm mountain goat.
Are you sure?
I am fairly certain. Unfortunately, we had a bit of an accident in regards to a...
What did you do to it?
Look,
It looks like
was
it's
a bit of
been turned into a candle.
Look, there was a few things. Look, let's get past what happened to it. I just want to see if we can help heal these kind of, burnt issues, and also I'm looking for some new barding. So, you're pointing in the right direction. So, I'm trying to just... I'm not going to go ahead.
I'm assuming that Bradshaw and Dimitri obviously didn't go with Bradshaw anywhere, but certainly if I was Bradshaw and the vet says to me when the first, "What the hell is that thing?" I'd be concerned about it as a vet, personally.
I'm back, by the way. Sorry, guys.
Oh, good.
I would like to see your qualifications.
Now, the only person I would bring along would be Plowman.
Yep.
Staying out now. If he wants to come along, if he doesn't, I understand I'll just go by myself.
Drazzle's happy to go with you.
Razzle doesn't. I told Razzle no. I straight up no. If he takes one step towards following us, I would say no, and I'll get right up in his face.
Well,
Okay.
are you okay with myself and Drazzle and maybe Dimitri heading over to Alfheim?
Leaving him behind.
No. This won't take long. Just give me half a day, guys. That's all I ask. So
No, half a day is too much.
we'll go over and I'll meet you up later. It's fine. That's fine. And I might have much rather myself something like a bar that can't wait and rah, yeah, and under my breath. Anyway, I'll go to the vet and I'll say, it is a goat. I absolutely can confirm it is a goat.
It's true. It's definitely a goat. It just usually stinks.
And they look at it and go, "I'm sorry, but we've got nothing to deal with that severe level of burn. We normally just help them to end their life and
Put it out of pain.
Okay, if you don't want to deal with it, is there something...
Oh no, they're happy to deal with it, put it out of its misery.
Oh, no. I look at him with a look of like, I can do intimidation or whatever I want to do, but I'm just saying, no, is there somebody else who'd like to help me heal this goat?
And he starts pointing out the cruelty to animals that you're doing, having burnt your goat that badly.
If he starts going on that, I'll start.
Yeah, Plumman's going to start. Yeah, don't going that Bradshaw intimidating. Plumman's going to start today.
Rachel's going to go up and take him by the scruff of the neck and just lift him up and just say, "Oh, even as a halfling, like a dwarf, I can still kind of do that a little bit." And I'll say, "Look, no, is there somebody else that's willing to help me? Because it sounds like you're an idiot and you don't know what you're doing."
This is what we'll go find another vet. I'm sure that there are plenty who can deal with mostly dead, but smelling delicious, whatever that is.
You go first, David, and I'll answer after that.
No, you go in there.
Okay, I'll whisper in Bruce's ear to give him a kick in the head, kind of thing.
And we'll kick Bradshaw in the head to keep on burning.
You have a big thump in the back of your helmet from I
I
You
just look at
probably had that coming, man. Come on, let's go find something actually
yeah, look, that's fair, okay. Okay, let's catch up to the others. I go, okay. And I go, and I mutter useless bloody bits of bloody Darkin, and then I leave as well, so.
Well, Darkin's not known for its animals. They're known for money and trade and diplomacy.
While I'm doing this, I'm going to talk to Pam and go, I said, what do you recommend, Doc? I said, I want to, go ahead.
I would probably try and find a cleric, you know, they can heal people, creatures, you know, it's all maybe even a druid maybe, I don't know, like someone who actually can do something out of this useless snake oil pedal.
Yeah, we're going to Alfheim, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we'll go to Alfheim. I suppose the clerics and druids there, maybe. What else? They do that kind of crazy stuff.
And they love walk.
And, I've heard they love the walk. Love them. But,
That's very wrong, my friend. Even I know that.
yeah, I know. But look, I'll pay anything. And I said, I've got to also get a barding, and also got to somehow explain to the wife now why I've destroyed the wedding barding for Bruce, but that's kind of...
Look, I'm sure that can be repaired. That's fine, but I think we need to find either a big friend, a cleric, or a druid who's not useless.
Yeah, and while I'm doing this, Mark, can I, as a kind of character, tell you, consider the dwarves are against magic. Would the goat have similar magic resistance to magic, finally?
You don't know, you've never tried.
I don't know,
I'm pretty sure that goat has resistance to existence at the moment.
That's true. I suppose he might have got some magic resistance from eating all those potions and that.
Well, maybe he's just resistant to death, because any other goat on the planet should be dead.
But this is Bruce. Bruce never dies. He always comes back.
Exactly.
So, that's right. It's eventually going to be an undead
He is
goat.
Bruce Willis of Die Hard.
Yeah.
I'm not certain that the eventually word is appropriate there. When you said eventually he's going to come back and come dead. Are you sure he's not already?
No. He's still got his mind of his own. I know that's king of the egg. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually when people get turned to undead, the people smell nice beforehand and smell terrible after. So imagine when Brucey smells terrible beforehand and nice afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. The way he is at the moment, he's almost just that cross between a hellhound and a hellhorse. It's a nightmare.
Okay, so you catch up with the others as they are opening up a portal from the Knights River Inn in Darkin to the one in Alfheim.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it does take a while to get that ritual working.
Don't leave me this time. I yell out and make sure I get there in time.
You said to leave you.
You did.
So glad you could make it.
Well, the vet was useless.
No, you're not.
Yeah, hang on. If Dimitri says that, no, you're not. But the event was useless, so we're going to continue on. Thanks.
Okay, you managed.
Hey, elf boy, do you know of any druids in Alfheim? Like, you're an elf, we're going to elves.
I've never been in Alfheim, so proper
Wow.
Okay, so you
Okay, I think you can help.
You find yourself on the outskirts of Alfheim town, and you see a what appears to be a city on the ground and up trees that seem to go up for about 400 to 600 feet. Hard to tell how high it goes up, and there are many levels of the city up the trees.
As regarding the fact that after Trellen mentioned the never been to Alfheim, Dimitri will remind Plyman in his so helpful voice and information the fact that, remember, you've known Trellen for as long as he's been an elf. We haven't been to Alfheim in that time.
Yes, but he's elf. Like, no. Maybe suddenly he's not.
But 6 months ago, he was a halfling.
And 6 months ago, I thought you wanted to know him. By the way, no, that's not true. You've always been annoying.
It
turned into elves. You know, you never know. You could have memories implanted in. It was good stuff. You don't know.
Rachel's not in the background.
As far as my memory goes, I'm probably only about 40, so I don't think that would be an elf reaching maturity.
Well, you've skipped the entire growing up process that the elves go through, and you've gone through at the same age bracket you were before. So you've got the body of about 100 to 200-year-old elf. But not the memories of it.
Yes.
Wow, they are going to think that you are dense.
So
that's why I don't talk too much.
Coming out, you see that there are all the elves here have either hair shades of green or various shades of orange, with the occasional black, white, or blue hair.
And what colour's Trellen's hair?
I don't know.
What would you like it to be?
I think pink. Pink sounds good.
Well, just in the sense that presumably your elemental affinity hasn't changed when you went from halfling to elf.
What was Redrian?
Redrian would have been red for fire.
All right, red hair sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
So you're matching dimension.
What?
Can I suggest?
Simon picks up Bruce and immediately goes to the first elf with green hair.
Yep.
And asks in something other than Elvish, do you know anyone who can help this creature?
He looks at you in concern, going, "What have you done to the poor goat?"
Saved it. We're trying to save it some more.
He looks at the goat closer and goes, "I think you might need a cleric."
Or a druid.
A cleric's probably more appropriate because your goat's also cursed.
Can you show me where a cleric is?
Cleric have been providing life rights.
He says, "Go to the trade gate." He says, pointing up the path that you're on, and asks there. Unfortunately, he's not sure you'll be allowed in with all the issues they're currently dealing with at the moment.
That's nice. Don't care me to help Bruce. Go.
I'd like to know what the
Thank you
issues
for
are.
myself, love I've ever met.
Yep, I'll go with him.
I
Okay.
don't know what the issues are, so I'll hang around to listen.
And I want to punch Dimitri on the shoulder on the way after this last on it. So.
Well, Dimitri's not leaving the inn immediately because he wants to talk to the inn staff to get some local information about, okay, what's happening here in Alfheim before we're about to walk into it.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll still go off and with Palmer and Palmer carrying Bruce while the goat looks a bit stupid going, "Why did you do this to me?" So, yeah.
Well, it's giving you that squint-eyed look the whole way.
Oh no, I've seen that look before. I know what exactly the look are.
Okay.
I can't talk to animals, but I can read goats very well.
Right, Dr. Doolittle, let's go.
Okay, so you guys are heading off towards the town. While that's happening, Trellen gets a chance to talk to the elves. So, and Dimitri's currently in the inn. So while you're talking to the elves, you find out from them that there have been a lot of just strange occurrences in the forest.
Right. So
The forest is becoming a darker place, even for the elves.
So what this elf is talking about is that those strange events.
And he is saying that even though the trees of life have been stabilized, the power of them is not actually coming through into the forest.
So, obviously the tribesman wins.
That they say that they...
Reference to the other campaign where we're actually currently trying to save the tree of life.
Ah.
Because the other campaign...
So we we shouldn't bother with the Tree of Life.
Is that what you say to him?
But by the time this group is happening, the fact that this group is still happening and the Tree of Life is not dead means the Tree of Life was saved, or at least stopped from
So it was saved in the past, and now it needs to be saved again, probably.
They are talking about how the power that maintains the forest is fading. The elves are losing control of the forest.
Right, but that's not an inevitable loss.
He has that look of without control of the forest will die.
And the people haven't worked out.
Well, we're here to sort this sort of thing out.
Well, that's good. You might want to speak to your tree keeper to find out about how you can best help your clan, because they could use all the outside help they could get. They've even put out calls to the sages of Galantry, inviting them in for the first time.
Cool.
And, elves talking to non-elves about secret elf business generally doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's how dire it is for them.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So while you're doing that, Jeremy, you're in the inn. You're talking to a half-orc barman.
Mm-hmm. I'm figuring that I'm probably going to get somewhat similar information to what Trellen just got, but obviously from a different point of view and probably with less detail.
Though it is a bit of a double take for you to realise it's an actual half-orc.
Oh yeah, because half races don't work in this world, don't they?
No. They are, it's almost like seeing the boogeyman sort of thing. They are considered creatures to be hated by most people.
So in fact, he's actually going to be looking in more and assume he's actually a full orc, really, isn't he?
You can tell that he is not a full orc.
Yeah.
He's got obvious traits of humans as well as traits of orcs.
So, but a half race has, as far as we're aware, never existed in this world. Isn't that correct?
Oh, it has, but they've always been the serial killer sort of people.
Okay, right. So yeah, right. So they can technically they've been available. They can be born to parents of mixed races.
Only through magic or curses.
Right. Okay.
So he'd obviously be a magical creation or a cursed creature.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Certainly, yes. A slight double take. Yeah. Oh well, I guess Redrian hires all sorts.
He sighs and nods. Yes. He's been here his entire life.
You mean at the Night Rivet Inn or in Alfheim?
Alfheim.
Is there something
that must have made it
existence?
He doesn't explain it.
So Dimitri just say that must have made things even more challenging than they might have been in other locations. So.
Well, the elves were more understanding than most races.
Mm-hmm. Well,
considering the childhood of an elf is longer than my lifespan,
mm-hmm.
They don't see it as a problem to worry about.
Yep. And I guess that made it easy for Redrian to hire your services when he opened the inn here in Alfheim. Is that correct?
Well,
gave you a good opportunity to get actually interact. Although, okay, I suspect that would have increased your interaction with the other races that might have made things more challenging. But
well, they had suggested the elves that he take me on, so I moved out of town.
So, but have you had much many travellers through the inn recently?
We've had far more raven-haired elves than usual. They're normally just green and red, so he's not sure where the influx of dark-haired elves come from.
Now, I'm assuming that Dimitri doesn't have enough knowledge about elven history and things like that to be thinking of the various races. Oh, actually, well, he has actually met scat elves and stuff, hasn't he?
You have,
in Hollow World.
You also know that the Dark-Haired Elves generally mean those associated with the entropic element.
Yeah. So.
Does that automatically mean they could be deadly?
No, it just means that they're associated with the entropic element instead of the element of energy and fire.
But as a general rule, the entropy is bad.
It's perceived of as bad. It's not necessarily bad.
That's right. Prevailing belief, right or wrong.
Sorry.
Many travellers going out of here towards Darrican, or are they mostly coming in?
Well, the rumours are that the elves are building up their forces to help Darrican. Because if Darrican falls, they believe they will fall as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a lot of arguments between the various clans over who should help and why should they help.
And has there been any other rumours or activities from within Alfheim itself?
There's always rumours that the Shadow Elves are coming to take them away. Because they are the local boogeyman of the region.
Yep. In fact, I'm just trying to think, because what they see as Shadow Elves are actually the almost albino type ones, aren't they?
They believe them to be albino, yes.
Yeah.
So
the fact that there's black-haired elves coming in is not indication of Shadow Elves from their perspective.
do they see the white-haired elves as part of their boogeyman?
Yeah. So there's no unusual rumours or things like that coming from within the forest or anything?
The main thing coming through is that the tree keepers are all gathering to discuss matters of importance when they normally don't all gather and speak to the king at the same time. So you've got the council of all the clan tree keepers in Alfheim City at the same time for the first time in history.
So Dimitri's privately thinking to himself, that sounds like a unicorn. But he'll actually ask the question, like on the idea of, has there been any rumours or activity or indications of greater malevolent activity not from Shadow Elves?
Hard to tell.
In the forest?
Hard to tell.
Like monsters or anything like that coming through?
He tries to cut in on you again and says, hard to tell because most of the champions of the forest disappeared a year ago to try to save the trees.
Would that then imply that the forests are less well defended, so that if there were monsters coming through, they'd be more likely to have greater effect?
That is true. They don't have the highly skilled operatives that normally protect the forest in the forest.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the main thrust of what Dimitri was going to just get that general information about, and obviously when he combines it with what Trellen got told by the elves, we can.
I think all points towards the tree keepers as the next step.
Well, except that I would agree. The main problem going to be is that we're unlikely to actually be allowed to get in to see the tree keepers, because there's a good shot. Well, yes, under normal circumstances, there'd be difficulty getting into the Alfheim city itself. Like the Knights Moving Inn is actually located outside the city, the walls of the city, so that the elves don't have to invite too many foreigners in at once.
Okay, so we'll now go over to the other two rushing towards the gate.
Having just said that they never let foreigners in.
Okay, you rush up towards the gate. You see that there are about 50-odd elves with bows and swords ready in front of the gates itself, and a person in flowing green cloak standing in front of them, asking you to stop and identify yourself. In Elvish.
I don't know if you noticed, but Mark did just put a message up saying he was away for a moment, so I don't know if he's back right now. So.
Well, David was the one rushing forward.
I'll for it.
Yeah, all good.
I'm back.
And Mark was,
Mark knows Elvish, by the way.
Mark was following.
So I can reply in Elvish and say, "We mean no harm. I am just here to see if I can get some help from your clerics. My poor goat had a serious accident."
Okay, they go, they look at your goat, and they say, yes, we had some word sent ahead, saying that your cursed goat was on its way, though it does smell delicious.
I thought you guys didn't eat meat.
If an elf is saying that, you know it must smell good.
I'm unsure what you mean by the curse component, but I do believe I just need somebody to help heal my goat who's had a bit of an accident, and I said I'm happy to get over the differences that my race and your race has and move forward and try to work together.
I've never had a problem with your race. Your race has had problems with mine.
Yeah, I know. Look, I know what you mean, and over my short history as a dwarf, I feel that
He laughs at your joke.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, could we see the local clerics? Is there any way we can get through that? We could ask questions to the. Would you?
Well, I'm just still flabbergasted that Bradshaw knows Elvish.
He says, "Well, put the goat down, and I'll talk to it and find out what's wrong."
Okay, I may go talk to Plowman in normal speak, whatever common, and just say, hey. I know a lot of language that people don't know, but anyway. But it was like, okay, I'm just spoken to the eldest guy. He just wants to have a quick look, talk to Joe.
I saw it, but wait, hang on, what? How do you speak Elvish? You're dumb.
Look, while I was away, I learnt some extra languages, and it actually, I thought it'd be beneficial. I wanted to be learned, not as stupidly learned as Dimitri, but just learned. Okay.
Because they are the most serious race, and you want to get the magic knowledge.
Of course, David.
I'm wondering where this disembodied voice comes from.
Okay, David. Of course, what he's really saying, he doesn't want to admit the fact that he spent several months getting private tutoring from Dimitri on different languages.
I know. Anyway, I learned this from my wife, thank you, by the way. But anyway, we don't want to go. I wouldn't. It was from Dimitri.
God, that poor woman.
Hey, you met my wife. You know that assassin, red-haired chick. You know the one.
Damn.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, I don't want to make a dwarf joke, but you're kind of punching above your weight. Like punching up big time, my friend.
I know. I'm fully aware of this.
I mean, you're as ugly as a head full of assholes, and even for a dwarf, she's kind of cute.
She's a halfling.
She's a halfling.
You don't look the same to me. You're all really short.
Halfling master assassin, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Bruce, what do you want to do with Bruce?
Just put Bruce on the ground. The elf wants to talk to Bruce.
Oh, okay. Drops Bruce.
So, the elf seems to have a conversation in grunts and animal sounds with the goat.
Oh, this is not going to be good.
That's just like that time when I saw when I heard the dwarf making out with another dwarf. It's the same noises.
Bradshaw's in trouble now because the truth will come out.
Oh.
Might get an yogurt. Okay, so yes, that goes on for a while until Dimitri and Trellen turn up, with Drazzle following behind.
Oh, hey, nerds, welcome back. Welcome to the gates.
At which point the elf turns to Bradshaw and says, "Really? When's the last time you actually talked to your goat?"
I don't speak goat. I know how a goat thinks, but I don't speak goat.
You know he's not really a goat.
I wondered that for a really long time.
Hang on, and I get a stunned kind of funny look and go,
Is your druid?
he's not a goat?
No, he's not a goat. He got cursed into shape change.
What is he then?
He says he's your older brother.
Ah! Yeah, Dr. Dark.
No.
Sorry, hang on. Dun, dun, dun.
You mean Barry?
No, he means Bruce.
No. No. So Bruce is Barry. But how does Bruce... Oh.
And you've been treating him rather poorly, apparently.
Can you fix the old man?
Can you, fix him somehow?
Which way of fixing, like an animal or like a person, he says.
Well...
Because I do have some shears that I can use that will fix that problem.
Now, I'd like to... If he's been cursed, I would like to make him... I'd like to see my brother again. I haven't... Well, I didn't realise...
He points and says he's just over there.
Yes,
You're
but
seeing your brother every day, you moron.
I would like my brother to be a normal dwarf.
Oh, wait, I imagine this is probably an elvish.
No, he's saying it in common so you can understand it.
Yeah, so I'm going... Okay, so the first thing, if we make my brother uncursed from a goat to a dwarf, is that something you guys can do?
Possibly, but I'm not sure it's an improvement.
Okay. The other thing, if after can we actually heal him and all? And just like, I know he's gone through a lot recently.
You've managed to get hold of a druid here, and he's got the perfect solution. You'll kill him off, reincarnate, he might come back as an elf.
Yeah, perfect.
If
That's dice I'd be willing to roll.
If I give Dimitri the most evil stare of like, shut the hell up kind of thing, and I go, anyway, and I go, okay, so...
So apparently he has a destiny that you've been ignoring.
Well, I don't know what his destiny is, because I haven't been able to speak to him, so... What destiny does he tell you destiny?
He says your mother actually told it to you.
I want to recall... Yeah, I want to recall memory there if I can, so...
Sure.
What I need to roll
Plummet backs off and stands next to Dimitri.
Rob,
This is funny to you as it is to me.
just roll a d20 and tell me what you get.
This is fucked. 3.
Okay, you remember your mum telling you lots of things, but you were too busy at the time dealing with beer, your beard, your gear, and lots of other things that you didn't really pay attention.
Now, Bradshaw, Mummy goat and a daddy goat loves each other very much.
Dimitri's response to Plummet when he's asked about whether it's as funny as for him type stuff, Dimitri will respond somewhat inexactly, saying, it's been funny for years. Implying Dimitri knew the whole time.
Okay, so I'll...
Such a dick.
Look,
Well, the goat has been around for quite a while without aging.
that's true. It's worse that I've been riding my goat. Oh, that's wrong. Sorry.
You are your brother.
Yeah, so wrong so many levels.
Absolutely with your brother.
And the elf does mention your brother didn't really like where you stuck your broomstick.
Yep, that's fair, cool.
I am happy that I have been nice to Bruce the entire time that I've known Bruce.
I didn't ask the question, I did I get the broomstick back or not?
You look, no, it's still there.
Okay.
What? 3 weeks later?
Yep. He wasn't that observant.
Okay.
He's almost as snobby as Dimitri.
3 weeks I'm gonna move the broomstick, turn it back to a dwarf.
Well, it's
and
sort of stuck in there at the moment. It's been there so long.
If I knew this at the start, I would have got out at the start, man. But anyway, I didn't realise it was still stuck there. But anyway, I didn't ask that question.
Yeah, the comedic effect of this is hilarious.
I think this is funny too. Okay.
Most people would have actually noticed it.
So, what would be your recommendation to one bring my brother back, and also I need to find out about this thing which I forgot that my mother told me that I forgot all about. What's your recommendation as a... Can I see the clerics to see what their recommendation is, or is that something that you guys can do right here, or...
I am a cleric, and I have communicated with your mount for you, which was just a very simple, ritual called Talk with Animals. Because he's been reverted to an animal for this polymorph.
Look,
which is very unusual to work on.
I don't think anyone here can do this.
No, I can't. No, none of
I thought that the elf character Stefan had, or whatever it was, Riot talked with animals with it before.
Yes.
Yeah.
But didn't have a long conversation with the goat.
Oh, okay, so the conversation was long enough. Okay, cool.
But what you're missing there is the fact that this is Plum speaking to ask about it, because he can speak with animals.
Shut up. Shut up.
And I know this, but I wasn't waiting for
Bruce
2
didn't
weeks.
speak up of when I was getting harassed by the druid, alright?
Anyway, so I asked Cleric, what's the best recommendation to one...
Bradshaw, he's been like that for years. You've had to stick up his ass for the last 3 weeks. Surely this can wait. We've got the world to save here.
This is family, world can wait. Okay, so I will go with recommendation from the cleric, and I would like to remove the broomstick in one piece if possible.
As well, the broomstick is a bit damaged from the burning that you apparently subjected your brother to.
Would we be able to, if the broomstick comes out, would it be fair to use if the broomstick was in some sort of reasonable condition, would you accept this as some sort of payment for the work to help my brother out here? Or?
So you're offering a broomstick from the backside of your brother as payment for saving your brother?
As well, to the temple, if you'd like, but I just thought I'll try to work some deal out here because I still don't like the idea.
It's a 10-minute ritual because this is going nowhere.
Okay. You not only toasted him, but you turned him into a command.
Oh, yeah, I have done the comments there, but I'm going to be nice because
Well, I mean, he's sort of woolly, so maybe a marshmallow.
Okay, so... I'm just looking up spells he can use to help you.
Okay.
Without laughing too much.
Okay, yes. And then the spells he might actually be willing to use is a much shorter list.
I forgot about the broom. If I knew about the broom, I would have got the broom out earlier, but I forgot about the broom till then. So
You had trouble getting it out, so you just left
I
it.
was wondering for a while now what that was about.
Right, he just figured it was a point, like, Dimitri worked out that, Bradshaw's finally made a way for Bruce to clean up after himself.
All those fun things that can happen.
Wait.
Okay.
Does this mean if we use the right spell with that broomstick, he could fly?
That was the reason it was stuck in there in the first place.
Good grief.
And look, honestly, when I used the flying broom in the past, a full plate armored dwarf flying on a broom didn't really look a good look. So, what could go worse? Like sticking the broom up a goat's ass really doesn't make any difference right now. So I don't think. So I think I'm just going to go along with it.
Continue.
Yeah.
10-minute ritual.
And the other thing, the funny thing, the actual broom is actually elven made too, which is the funny thing to the whole thing. So.
I know.
I know, Martin knows this.
Okay, so, he does start casting a spell on your distressed mount.
Yes.
Your mounted distress mount.
And basically, he says it's going to take an hour for it to complete after spending a minute casting it. So by this time, Plumman has finished his ritual.
He immediately looks to Bruce. Dude, what the hell? Why didn't you say anything?
He says he did, but you weren't listening.
You weren't talking loud enough.
Well, you're going, oh my god, the owl, I don't want to hear another animal speak, so it's like...
Are you kidding me? We've known each other for ages. You could have said... Anyway, look.
I did, but you weren't listening.
Destiny?
Says, his mum had told his brother, but he wasn't there to hear it. Just said that his brother knows all the details.
Yeah, Barnum's gonna try and talk at Goat and not comment. Yeah, but your brother's a dumbass and he forgot.
He knows, especially considering what he does with brooms.
Yeah, look, sorry about that. I didn't really know anything about what was going on there.
Okay, as you're watching, you do see that goat fur is starting to grow back.
Great.
And there's a rather surprised look on the goat's face as a popping sound happens out the other end.
Well, that's a start.
Oh, the broomstick's out. Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, just to leave room for the hair that's growing out of there now.
Is Dimitri in distance of me at the moment?
Dimitri's nearby, yes.
Yeah, I pick up the broomstick, wipe it all over Dimitri, and then put it back in the bag.
Oh!
Okay, hold person.
Finally, Dimitri casts an offensive spell.
Apparently that is a... What sort of save is that one? Charisma?
It's an enchantment-based spell. Just a second. What did I say? Hold person.
Wisdom saving throw. So wisdom saving throw.
I'm just looking through all my resistances of magic.
Please pass.
Oh, yeah, resistance of...
Energy.
No. Okay. Wisdom, huh? Okay. Oh, we got a +1 there. Funny. No advantage because it's not magical healing, so this is okay. Cool. Okay. 12, this probably means I'm health.
So you've got the broom stuck out towards Dimitri and just stop in that position.
And Dimitri will then cast Prestidigitation on the broom.
And the broom's nice and clean. So when you wipe it on Dimitri, it is still nice and clean.
Oh no, okay, then if he takes it on, Dimitri will then release the spell, and if he wants to keep handing it to the broom, Dimitri will take the broom.
So when you finally get back access to your body again, the elf says he's unable to break the curse on your brother, though he could try killing him and reincarnating him.
Flamin asks if that's what he'd like.
He would rather not die and come back as a random.
He says no. He says no.
So he says no. So I get told by Flamin, he says no, and I said, well, I don't think my brother wants to really go through that, but thank you for the offer. How can I pay for your services, mate?
Well, you already offered the broom.
Yep.
Okay, well, and Dimitri will hand it over to him.
And then I'll pay the relevant gold amount, because I do have a lot of gold sitting in my bag of holding at the moment.
Okay, so for services for a 7th level spell.
Yeah, I don't worry, I've got a lot of gold, guys. I've got over 20,000 sitting at the moment, guys. So.
27,000 gold.
Yeah, but...
Okay, services. I'll have to look up later where it actually asks where it has it in the book, but I know it does have it in the book somewhere.
Cool. I'll look it up for you later on.
So good. You pay him a lot more than you're expecting.
That's right. I'll pay the full amount, and I'll go up to Bruce, aka my brother Barry. I'll go.
And now you know why he keeps kicking you in the head.
Okay. I'm sorry. Really, really sorry. I expect you to kick me in the head a couple more times. I understand. I'm really sorry. Okay?
Please translate.
He stands on your foot.
That's fine. I accept it. I said, I'm very sorry. Maybe later I'll
He said something about prophecy and that your mother told you while he was out drunk.
Yeah, I can't remember that at all.
Yeah, we know, you're a dumbass. Stop remembering.
I mean, do I have to go back and see my mother? Or not? So.
And
Yep.
just for your awareness, page 159 of the player's handbook is for base information on stuff. But
Thank you very much.
Jeremy, while we're here, can you look at how long you talk with Spirit Animals last floor, please?
yep, I suspect it will be 10 minutes of concentration, but I will confirm.
I know that's casting time. I'm fairly sure that's casting time too.
So yes, the offer of the broom was probably appropriate for paying for the service.
10 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so your brother will slowly grow his hair back over the next hour.
Okay.
And yes, I did have notes on this from when you first introduced the goat.
Damn you, man.
Dimitri, always you.
It says, I can only do this once a day and it only lasts 10 minutes. If you need to talk to me in future days, you'll have to let me know. I assume it'll involve violence.
Yeah,
The goat is quite happy to involve violence because he knows you like it so much.
Yeah.
Climb up to tell again. Just head up Bradshaw if you want to talk.
That's a really good idea. Yeah, just head up Bradshaw and I'll do the thing. I can only do it once a day.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Of course, that's like a topic of headbutting you multiple times a day.
Okay.
Yeah, he was saying that he'd go to shoot Barry.
So, now, I suppose I've still got the 10 minutes up. Do we still have 10 minutes up or not?
Well,
Right, does he want to call him Bruce or Barry? I just want to make sure I get this right so I can keep him in the good books here.
well, his response is, he knows you're a bit dim-witted, so at least you can get Bruce out. You seem to forget that Barry even existed half the time.
Well, I was young when I didn't. Okay, whatever. I had a few beers in me. It's whatever.
While you were learning, you had a few beers in you as well, he said.
Yes, I
You
know.
always had a few beers in you. Even at your wedding, you had a few beers in you.
No, actually had a lot of beers in him.
Yeah, Bobbin interrupts Barry for a second. Look, I mean, you know, you're both dwarves. You're supposed to be drinking, right? Like, it's part of the culture.
He says that there's drinking and there's alcoholic, he says.
I think you've been gone for too long.
I suspect Barry would agree with you.
Barry does agree. He's been a goat for too long.
He was returned for too long after 30 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. Spells over, don't care anymore. Stop making me be translator. Go away.
No, that's all right. I'm good. I'm just getting out the little bag of magical apples I have all the time, and I'm just feeding as many as I possibly get into Bruce for the time being. So.
Okay.
And he's collecting all the pips in his mouth and spitting them back again.
Yeah, I expect to have violence against me even by the goat for the next weeks on end.
Yeah.
So.
Do you plan on sleeping ever?
Not in the stables in the night future.
What? You don't like want to sleep with your brother?
I give Dimitri a look of like, you are pushing the limits of our friendship, which wasn't very small to start off with.
Okay,
And
so
go ahead.
so while you're doing that, the guy asks, is there anything else he can do to assist you now that he's healed your poor cursed brother, who is apparently more eloquent than you are?
I believe my elvish friends behind me that had some questions for you, and I'll pass it across to Dimitri and Trellen. So.
He hits you on the back of the head and says, one of them is human, one of them is an elf. You should know the difference by now.
No, to be fair, he said elven friend. He wasn't talking about me.
Sorry.
Before you finish with this moron, question, on behalf of us, thank you.
Give me a sec. So, Emrys, you were asking something?
Yeah, we're wearing necklaces that translate for us, right?
You do, yes.
Well, you might be.
If you kept it.
Is there any reason that if they could cast something or do something that you'd be able to talk to Barry that way?
He says he could probably look into a magical item to allow you to understand animals, but
Just a thought.
it's a possibility.
It is simple translation. I think the only thing Barry wants to say to Bradshaw, it probably doesn't need translation maybe for the next 2 weeks.
Well, it is a curse that turned him into a goat, so he's got the mind of a goat.
So dwarf mind.
And I kind of, in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, he's always had a mind of a goat, but I didn't want to say it out loud, so.
But how would you
I'm
know?
not sure it's different.
Oh, he wasn't my favourite brother. I'm just putting it out there.
So
I'm not.
was he actually older or younger brother?
Older.
Right.
At which
remember,
point the goat stands on his other foot.
No, I said that to myself. I didn't say it out loud, man. So. Or did that? No. If I said it to myself, like,
What's good hearing? You know that, right?
Well, I'm not talking. I'm just kind of thinking and not actually speaking it. But I have a feeling that's kind of.
Does Bradshaw have a difference?
Not really, no. I suppose in the end. So, yeah. Okay. It's like, yeah. Steve was my favourite, by the way. I say again. So, yeah. Anyway,
I didn't say you were getting headbutt regardless of what you said.
I'm going to be bruised by the end of the day. So, yeah. So yes. One is a elf-human hybrid. I don't know how to put it. And the other one is Dimitri, who. Yes, Dimitri. I'll let Dimitri.
Maybe don't knock out their friend, and well, he's elf.
Alan's never been human.
I know. I was.
But he is elf. He is elf. Nothing
Definitely,
else.
Yeah. Anyway,
He is elf.
we're on a and I try to remember them because I really wasn't taking notice of any of the mission that we're looking at, and I'll be going. We're trying to find something about unicorns. That's all I can remember. Maybe the guys can refresh me.
Whoa! Hang on. Bradshaw, come here for a second.
Okay, I'll walk over. Yep.
Yeah. See, this is called a distraction that stops you from talking on behalf of the party. Dimitri, if you could continue, please.
Where's the beer?
I don't care. Shut up.
Well, it usually comes with the distraction. Usually comes with the beer, and that usually works, as you know. In the
Yes,
past.
but we have rules in parties. I don't talk for party unless it involves stabbing and smashing. Neither do you. We don't talk for party.
No, sorry.
Talk for your brother, who literally can't talk for himself.
I get
But
headbutted.
not for whole party, okay? We do the smashing thing, so shut up.
Yeah. Okay, I'll leave it to the mouth of the south. Yeah.
Yes, he has very working mouth.
Yes.
And
Come on now, boy, let's go.
Karameikos is definitely south of Rockholm.
It is definitely south of Rockwell.
Yep. I was hoping I was right with the south comment. But yeah.
Hey, talkie boy, do the talkie talk.
But okay, yes. While when Bradshaw's been pulled off to the side, and there's obviously some animated conversation going off somewhat quietly, Dimitri will encourage Trellen to come forward as well and explain that we need permission and authorization to travel through the forest of Alfheim.
Says, well, I might need to.
Actually, just before we go there, can Trellen actually discuss with Dimitri exactly what he picked up from the elves outside the inn or in the inn?
Yes, I want to be able to share information with everyone so we're on the same page.
Yep. And so you mentioned that you're kind of hoping or expecting that the fact that the gathering of the Tree Guardians is potentially also important, and as Dimitri privately thought, that could easily be considered a unicorn.
Yes, yeah.
So Dimitri will say yes.
And that was in Alfheim, wasn't it? That was
It
like
is
in
in
Alfheim
Alfheim too.
town.
Yeah, that was.
Town,
It was.
yeah.
It was just outside the walled city. Like Alfheim's effectively a walled city.
Yeah.
We haven't actually. We're at the gates of the city at the present time. We haven't actually got in there yet.
So
Knightsbridge is.
should we stay outside and go around to see the tree keepers?
Well,
Tree
the
keepers are in the centre.
They're meeting in Alfheim, I'm assuming, aren't they?
They do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So Demetrius suggests that yes, we're looking for authorization to travel through the forest of Alfheim. We've been received some information that potentially there is a threat within the forest that must be dealt with. Possibly up near what was the place called, Thrushbridge or something?
Yep. Thornbrush.
From Russia. Okay, well, like
Okay.
it was, it's certainly Demetrius remembers. However, we also understand that the a conclave of tree keepers is occurring in town at the moment, and whilst I understand that it would not normally be common for outsiders to meet or interact with such a conclave, we suspect that we may have information that would be of value to the conclave.
Yes.
Okay, well, he's already summoned Dryadil Theodil to come and speak to you. He's one of the clan heads of the Elven clans.
In that case, then, yeah, we're happy to stand and wait and Demetrius will have a quiet with Trellen while waiting to confirm. Given your background and history, are you aware if you actually associated to any particular elf clan at the present time?
I guess. Well, I went straight from another city into the Feywild, and so that was a monastery where I learned to be a monk. So I've never been actually here. Does that answer your question?
But I think we're trying to sort of confirm that from the character's perspective, effectively the Immortals turned you into an Elven Monk, did they not?
They did.
Yes.
Like whilst you've been given memories of learning how to be a monk in a monastery, that didn't physically occur.
Probably.
Is that accurate?
Probably not.
Like, it's probably something that, yeah, again, I expect Trellen probably would have absolute confidence on because he'd have absolute memory in process.
But also, mind wiped and this other knowledge reinserted.
Yeah, that's right. So, yes, but as part of that knowledge you've been provided, none of that actually came with elven background enough to understand clan relationship or anything like that, I'm guessing. Is that the situation?
No, I mean, I've got backgrounds, but not with this city.
Yeah. So, I don't know for the idea of, like, yes, if you knew what clan you were from or connected to, then we might find out whether or not this leader that's been sent for exactly your clan, randomly enough.
Well, I'll see if he's got red hair and then I'll make a decision.
Okay, you see a bald, wrinkled brown elf who's so stooped he's about 5 feet tall come towards you.
Well, that really helps.
I thought it might.
Martin, would I know this elf from my previous character? Or?
No.
No, okay, cool. Just from my history. Yep.
He looks older than most elves you've seen. Most
elves
don't show age.
I doubt he's gotten out much in the time that we've been alive.
He's got quite a strong voice and announces himself as Dryadil, here to hear what you have to say.
We've been informed of portents and omens concerning a beholder killing a unicorn.
Yes.
Presumably that's not a literal event, it may well be. However, having heard that the conclave of tree keepers are meeting,
And that seems to be a singular event. Is that also a unicorn?
That might qualify as the unicorn in this sense. But also, we've again heard rumours of that the monsters have been marauding Alfheim to a greater extent than usual. So we are interested as to whether or not there's been any reports of beholders, because that would certainly simplify the whole situation if we are talking about a literal beholder.
He says there's a good chance that a beholder will come this season. That's about time for one to pop in. The last one set up shop in Durrican.
Yes, I've met him.
Yes, which sort of lets you know just how hard beholders are to deal with.
Oh, absolutely. But believe me, the alternative is what it might have been compared to some of the other events or considerations.
Well, surely if we approach it from 5 different angles, it can only look at each one, maybe one or two people at a time. Oh, that's got 10 eyes on the top.
I was going to say, have you ever met a beholder?
He whispers to you, they have 11 eyes and they can fly.
Okay, sorry.
And spit on the spot.
Yeah, it makes it a little hard to sneak up on them. So he can ask the tree keepers what they know that's happening, though he got kicked out of the council for asking too many questions.
It seems like a poor way to run a council.
He's not a tree keeper, so they don't like other people butting in.
I can understand it can be difficult to have one interrupt one's train of thought.
Yes, all these young'uns thinking that they're better than everyone else, he says. When you live to 900 years, it would be nice if they actually paid attention.
Unfortunately, wisdom is lost on the young.
It is.
A piece of bread hits Dimitri in the back of the head.
No, two pieces of bread and maybe a rock, okay?
The elf looks at the two of you and says, "Behave, children."
Yes, Daddy.
And I do that in a sarcastic dwarven tone as well.
Okay, he casts a spell.
It was going to come, yeah.
Okay, Bradshaw is now suspended in midair.
Hey!
And Bruce is mighty unhappy because he can't reach with a headbutt.
That is true.
What he's cast.
Oh, Frederick, welcome to my home.
Cast telekinesis. He's cast telekinesis.
Hang on.
Bradshaw, welcome. Now you know what it's like to be Vistor.
Best saving throw for that, is there, man? Shit. No, okay. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
To be fair, the DC for the saving throw, if it existed, would probably only be about 72.
No, I got some resistance to certain spell damage, so that's what I was trying to check.
Yeah, it's just not even a thing you need to consider, really.
No, I'm going, hey, look, I didn't mean it like that way. I said Dimitri's a young elf, not an old elf.
He says he'll let you down in 10 minutes if you behave.
I cross my arms and just go, okay.
And I guess you're a tall dwarf. A tall halfling, I should say.
Dimitri's not even an elf, man. You know that, right?
Hang on.
I know he acts like asshole, but he's not elf.
Is he elf? I thought he was elf.
He's a Keldaran.
No.
He's a human.
I thought he was elf.
No,
Yeah.
he's just an asshole. No, he's just an asshole.
Okay, sorry. Arsehole elf. Hang on. I've got to say, no.
I was going to say, you said that out loud, didn't you?
No, that's purely player only, no character involved in that one.
No, fuck, who are you again? Bradshaw As Bradshaw starts to open his mouth, Plum immediately plants it shut. No. No.
No, okay.
It's a lot easier to make you shut up when you're in this door.
You have to bend down as low.
Yeah, exactly.
I am 4'2". I'm not that tall.
Although, Plum takes half a step back. Must make sure I'm away from kicking range now. Much more dangerous.
He says he will ask one of the other elves he knows, who's also a stranger to the forest, to see what she knows.
And so the good news with this information is there's potentially an actual beholder in Alfheim, or roaming the forest of Alfheim. Then there may well be a real unicorn that can be saved. I don't need to involve the tree keepers at all.
Says that would be preferable because they are rather stuffy people and full of themselves.
It's unfortunate when people are like that.
Well, when you talk to a tree for many years, you sort of get a bit strange, he says.
Yes.
Sort of like talking to animals, he says, looking at the goat. And
He's not actually animal.
he knows. He says with a nod as a 4-foot elf comes along.
Well, that's weird.
And I'll say down to the ploughman going, oh, more my size.
That should plowman actually let go of your mouth.
Okay.
Ah, yes. Plum unplants your mouth.
And he introduces, here is Cool Hands. She has more experience with outsiders than most.
Did he say cool hands, did he?
He says Cool Hands, yes.
Okay, hang on, I've got to do a dice roll. I
It's
keep
all right.
a little bit.
Clamps mouth shut again.
Plowman recognises the roll of a dice in the heavens and clamps it up shut.
I feel a disturbance in force. Must shut pressure up.
And Dimitri does recognize that she is one of the Galantrian elves of the Balkadiz clans.
Oh, okay.
They are all cursed with dwarfism, which is actually quite amusing.
Okay.
Plum lets go of Bradshaw's mouth and plants his own mouth shut.
I'm trying not to laugh. Giggle kind of
Okay. Does Dimitri actually recognise Cool Hands as someone he's met, or
You've not met
just
her.
recognises the racial type and features and things like that?
You recognise the racial type because they're the only elves to be under 7 feet.
Yeah. Well, okay, he will greet her and
unlike most of the elves, she has dark brown hair and bronze skin.
So he will greet her and inquire about what the title is for the head of the Cadiz at the moment. Where am I? I can't find the notes because we've had it before, but yeah. But yeah, so where oh god, can now even the whole title for the Galantri's gone out of my head. Princes of Galantri, aren't they?
Yeah,
So,
they are the princes.
Yeah. So, but the Cadiz clan was headed by a princess, wasn't she?
It was. And she
Yeah.
she identifies herself as Donna Ilona de Balkadiz.
Yes.
Sister to the princess of Balkadiz.
Indeed, the resemblance is striking.
She apologizes for the lack of hospitality, but not many people are getting into the city these days. Not with all the tree keepers here.
And from what I'd heard and from what I understand, even of the word outside, it does not surprise me. But, as I say, from our discussions with the Venerable Lord here, it would appear that we may not need to. So, have you spent much time in the forests of Alfheim directly?
Yes, I normally deal with one of the other areas. I'm just trying to figure out which area she comes from. Yeah, so she normally helps patrol the forests. But things are getting a bit dangerous out there at the moment.
We'd heard rumours that that there were weaknesses in the barriers that might allow additional forces to escape through.
Unfortunately, that is true, she says. She is normally located near Pinatel, which is all the way on the edge of the map. And it has been a rather harsh season for them. Normally they don't notice the passing of years, but since the elves haven't had any children for over 2 years now, it is starting to be noticeable that there may not be another elven generation.
Well, that would be a loss upon the world.
Since the trees of life started dying, there has not been an elf born or conceived. That has not been fixed, she says. And the life force of the elves has been tied to the trees by the god Ilsundal in his wisdom and folly. Now that
Climate nudges our elven friend. Does that technically make you the youngest elf in the world?
Quite possibly.
youngest elf is about 4 years old, she says.
That's alright. I'm
No,
a whole
actually,
10 times
that
that age.
makes him actually youngest elf.
Well, kind of.
She said she looks at him and says he looks to be about 200.
Oh yes, he looks very old.
He's had a complicated history.
Though he
But
does
that's
not have.
something-
He
not
doesn't
something
have.
that needs to be discussed at this point in time, Simon.
Yes, no, you continue. I was talking to Elf Boy.
Well, perhaps you could talk more quietly then.
Am
Shut up.
I still suspended? No, no.
He lets you down after you behave.
Because I was suspended from school for a whole day.
Detention. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
In your travels through the forest, have you heard any rumours of more aggressive or unusual monsters or aberrations?
Well, since the
Penetrating?
dragons abandoned Misthaven, it has been a little it has been a darker forest since the dragons left, she says.
Indeed, I'd heard that the dragons went north.
Apparently they are have been recalled from their services to keep the peace.
Which would be some explanation for the issues throughout the world at the present time. So,
But she has not been able to get word from the dragons since then. Though she's surprised that you're traveling with a dragonborn because even they have disappeared from the world.
this one is one that we only met recently, And yes, he would appear to be an unusual character.
She remembers meeting him as a child about 300 years ago in Galantry.
Yes. And yet, theoretically, the youngest Dragonborn, also the oldest Dragonborn, should be no more than 10.
Theoretically, yes, she says, but he's been meddling with time for longer than she can remember.
That's certainly the implication that I've received, yes. He does have some interesting stories to tell. And I say, one of the stories that is somewhat connected with his appearance is the situation that we've come to Alfheim here for now, is the idea of a beholder killing a unicorn. It is something that, until recent discussions with the Venerable Lord, I was concerned that there might be a lot more metaphysical aspects to such a portent, but possibly we could be lucky. Maybe it's just a real beholder killing a real unicorn that we might be able to stop.
Well, the unicorns are known to be around Dewdrop, protecting the good magic point. As it relates to them, while Misthaven relates to the dragons, Dewdrop relates to the unicorns.
But they're evil.
She looks at you and go, unicorns aren't any evil or good. They are spirits of the forest.
Dewdrop. They're the beholders are evil.
Beholders are evil, yes. But beholders are only evil because they don't exist in this reality, and they are forces that shouldn't be here in the first place. They are from the outer planes.
So maybe they consider us.
Have you heard potentially any rumours of beholders within the forest?
She heard about the one who opened a store in Darken City and connected it to Galantry City.
Yes, but I'm saying
he came from this forest.
Presumably we're looking more recently than that.
Well, most aberrations in the region came from Alfheim that got away from the forest. So, she wouldn't be surprised if another one is trying to get through, because they're always trying to get through. They are ravenous creatures that just like to cause destruction.
And or sell merchandise of very good quality.
She wouldn't trust anything bought from that from a beholder, because she just shudders at the thought of beholders.
I could completely agree.
They just like to mess with people.
Racist.
And what? Is there anything about Dimitri that indicates not racist?
Oh no, I'm talking about the elf, thank you.
She's even had reports from other elves that have tried to buy stuff from his store that he intentionally mislabels all his items.
I would back up that statement, yes. I do suppose say I've not visited Alfheim myself, but I'm thinking that possibly we want to be trying to get towards either Mysthaven. You said where the no, not Mysthaven, where the dragon was.
Dewdrop, she says.
Dewdrop, yes.
If you go to Mysthaven, you'll not be welcome, unfortunately.
No, I did mean Dewdrop. Or say possibly Thornbush, whatever it's called.
Thornbush, yes. Thornbush may have you leave this realm if you go there.
Oh, hang on, and now I can just see the map quite more clearly. So yeah, so Dewdrop is the white tree that's a little bit west of the Thornbush type stuff, isn't it?
It is. It's just south of the town of Ainsun. And she says that is the Granoff clan. and they are some of the forest elves, and she can probably get you clearance to go talk to them.
I was, yes, hoping you might be able to offer such thing, or even to provide a guide to the location.
Unlikely for anyone to travel with a dwarf and do so unless you're happy to travel with a half-orc.
What's the half-orc got to do with it?
He doesn't care who he travels with. Plus, most people will expect him to stab you in the back anyway.
Are your services available for hire?
Her husband, unfortunately, does not like her hiring out her services to outsiders.
Understandable.
And Beast Hunter is not one to travel with, she says.
Well, and I also certainly would not wish to disturb or interrupt your family. My studies in Galantery. I would certainly rather keep the Cadiz family on good side.
Yeah, she has not been there for over 200 years, but she's sure that they're still as petty as usual.
There is potentially, it could be argued that there's a lot of infighting amongst the princes and within the prince's own factions, yes.
He shakes her head and goes, not a lot, they are very petty. They're all about power. And if you can get in the way of their power, they will happily kill you.
Yes, yes.
She prefers the forest of Alfheim, it's a lot quieter. Or at least it used to be a lot quieter.
Well, certainly we'd be interested in any letters of introduction or that you may be able to provide. Because yes, I suspect that our first point of call would preferably just be dewdrop if it turns out that we can save one or more literal unicorns from an unfortunately literal beholder.
She recommends going to Ainsun and asking for someone there to take you to Dewdrop.
Happy to accept that advice, yes.
Because the unicorns are not very forgiving of strangers. And she is a stranger to them, as are most of those who don't actually live out of Ainsun.
Do you think that they could defend themselves from a beholder?
Probably not, she says. Most their creatures are magic, and beholders are anti-magic.
Yes, yes. So I just had a couple of thoughts. Maybe our help is not necessary, but unfortunately, we still do what we must.
Ask for the leader, Silverhoof. He would most likely be the one who would be most reasonable.
Silverhoof? Amongst the unicorns themselves, after we've managed to gain the approval of what was the name of the elf town again?
Ainsun.
Ainsun.
And the Grunelf clan.
Yes.
They
I'm
do
going to
have...
start writing this down because I've got the memory of Dimitri, and unfortunately he was hoping to actually get her to go on and hey, yeah, she can lead the way.
Though she can seek out the senior representative of the Grunelf clan who's here at the moment. And that may speed you on your way.
Well, it would certainly, if you are willing to speak to him and introduce us, then that is likely to make any subsequent introductions within the clan itself that much simpler.
Well, he has become the mediator for most of the clans in Alfheim.
So, yeah. It would be pleasing to meet him then.
Okay. She closes her eyes for a moment and seems to cast a spell. It says he should be here in about an hour.
Oh, when she can't spell, I'll hide behind Plowman because I think I'm going to go bad again.
Does Dimitri recognise a targeted message or something similar?
You do recognise it as a sending spell.
Sending spell, yep.
Okay. Not very long.
I was going to say, if you'll be about an hour or so, perhaps we can invite you for a drink in the night River Inn.
She enjoys talking to the barkeeper, she says.
I'm sure he enjoys the company then, because I fear that there are not many around here that would enjoy talking to him.
Well, I recommended him for the post.
So, it does seem very fitting well for one such as he.
Okay, so by the time you reach the Knight's River Inn, you see a Pegasus descending with a knight in shining armour. So much so that it looks like it's actually glowing.
So this is sorry, Pegasus, not a griffin.
Pegasus, yes. A golden Pegasus too, not a white Pegasus.
Oh, what's the difference?
You don't know. You've never met a golden Pegasus. But then again, you haven't really met a white Pegasus either.
It's just completely rare.
All the books you've seen show white Pegasi.
So the so as the Pegasus is approaching, does Donna Cadiz look up and make some comment about, is he earlier than expected? Or
she looks up and then points at the inn and keeps walking.
Okay.
He'll catch up, she says.
Sorry, go on.
He'll catch up, she says.
Yep. So in which case then, Dimitri will certainly admire the idea of a gold Pegasus briefly, but he's happy to continue following back into the inn.
Okay, so sitting down at the bar, does anyone else want to drink while she's there, she says. She knows dwarves can't seem to pass up an opportunity to get drunk, looking at Bradshaw.
Oh, Bradshaw is right there. Doesn't even kind of take her time to think about it. If she's offering free drink, I'm up there. So.
Perhaps you'd like to take a jug into another room.
No, if it's just a jug, I'm after. Is that all you got? I'll just say after a while. So.
And you do see the barkeep is a half-orc, which is very odd.
I ask questions though. You're not related to any orcs out here, are you?
Possibly, he says he's never met his father.
Okay, cool. Just wondering. And I'll just keep drinking. So.
Okay, then there's a lot of noise as a very burly elf comes into the room, probably about 7.5 feet tall, almost as bulky as Plowman. And he comes in and sits down at the bar next to everyone.
I offer him a drink.
He drinks your drink.
I get another drink. Does he try to take my drink again? Or?
No, you offered him a drink, so he took your drink.
Okay, that's cool. I offer the drink, so I get another drink. So, hey sir, what's your name?
My name, I thought you already know it. It is Alon Tree Life. I am the famous adventurer. Have you not heard of me?
I straight up and say nope.
He looks at you. Oh yeah, that's right. You're a little young for a dwarf, aren't you?
I might be a little young, but not as old as yourself, but I'm young, yeah.
My companion is not as well travelled as some.
Well, last time I was out in the world was 120 years ago.
Oh, well, definitely have, and no. Anyway, I'll get back to my drink and shut up. So.
You see him pull out a amulet that has dwarven runes on it, showing that he is part of the Rockholm Honor Guard.
Hang on, because I'll just...
Yeah, but okay, so Dimitri made a comment about the fact that, yes, Bradshaw His knowledge well travelled as some, and when he says that he hasn't been out for more than 120 years, Dimitri will explain, but your tales have spread far and wide.
Now, with the Honor Guard, Martin, would he be the kind of nobility kind of thing of Rockholm? Or
Well, it
that?
would be something that would be an honorific for any dwarf to be offered to protect the king themselves.
Oh, that's very... When did you get that, I ask, you know?
Oh, I got that about 150 years ago.
Oh, may I ask how you got that?
I saved the king.
Oh. Okay. How did you save the king? Was there anything particular that happened, or?
Well, there was this misunderstanding between a group of trolls, the king, and his men.
Oh, okay. Well, trolls, definitely understand that, so...
And he provided some aggressive negotiation tactics that helped them get through their point.
I like your talk. I like your thinking there. That sounds great. Hey, look, let me keep buying you drinks, because I think that definitely deserves more drinks than that one. And I'll keep buying drinks up to about 5 or 6, man, so...
And then he talks about how his flaming longsword is quite useful in giving trolls the point of his negotiation tactics.
Oh, I get you laugh at all these jokes and then these sly kind of comments. So I'm going. I don't really. Not that I don't like elves. I just don't.
But he's saying it in perfect dwarven for you.
I know, that's what I like about it. It's like I'm almost, you know, when you meet a kind of celebrity that you really, really like, and you kind of go, oh, this guy's nicer than I thought it was, kind of thing. This is what I feel like right now. So I'm not in awe, but I'm really impressed by this guy, especially talking to Dwarven at the same time. And we discuss all things Dwarven. I talk about, you know, what I'm, you know, basically my clan, Tolkris, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we'll have a few drinks anyway. So
all good. So after you spend about half an hour talking, he then turns to Cool Hands and says, I apologize for the rudeness of ignoring you, but he couldn't pass up the opportunity to talk to a dwarf about Rockholm. It's been ages since he's been there. At which point, Cool Hands gestures towards Trellen and says, this elf would like help in getting to Ainsun and then on to Dewdrop.
Yes.
He looks at you quite quizzically and says, so what clan do you come from?
It's yet to be determined. This is my first time in Alfheim.
He laughs and says, so which land do you hail from then?
Well, not in Alfheim.
He laughs and says, is there a reason you've been doing subterfuge here? Because you seem to be moving rather poorly for an elf of your age.
My friend grew up in the Five Shires.
Well, that would explain some of it, because he does really have the halfling attitude. Though he would have put it more as a more humanesque sort of way of doing stuff.
Well,
But no, he's been unfortunately separated from his elven heritage for a significant portion of his life.
He pats you on the shoulder and says, well, that's fixed. You're here now.
Yeah. I can say I've been to Alfheim.
And he is keen to regain and recapture and understand his elven heritage.
Well, there are 3 major clans here, and I'm sure any of them would be, well, he pauses for a moment and says, most of them, and then he pauses again and says, well, some of them would be happy to take you on.
Right.
He whispers, some of them are a bit obnoxious. I'm sure
Which
you met...
ones would you recommend?
Well, he is from Clan Grunelf himself, and they are fairly, well, more tree hugger than he would like. But if you like trees, I'm sure you'll get along well with them. Then,
What are the other two clans?
Then there's Clan Erendil, which is the unicorn clan. That uses a symbology of unicorns. And it's currently the ruling clan. The king of Alfheim is an Erendil. And they are probably the most worldly of the clans, more accepting of outsiders than others, but ruling a kingdom surrounded by... He looks at the rest of the group and says, younger races. It does make it a bit challenging at times to deal with people who you used to deal with their grandfathers or their great-grandfathers. Clan Red Arrow you'd probably avoid because they are a bit narcissistic, and unless you're a good bowman, they're not that interested in you. Clan Shosum are very much interested in trees. He's not sure exactly how much in trees.
There's a bit of a theme here, right? Okay.
Because they love their trees. Pretty much the same as Clan Miladil and Theodil, because they all use trees on their coat of arms. He says he likes trees and all, but it gets a bit boring if you just see the same tree day after day.
But they may know the subtle differences between trees.
Possibly. He's known a couple of elves who just stared at the same tree for over 100 years and not looked at a different one. And he doesn't know why. He thinks you're a bit strange.
Okay.
So you're basically talking to an adventuring elf compared to those who grew up in the culture.
But he's someone who hasn't left Alfheim in 120 years.
He hasn't left in 120 years and he still finds them strange.
Okay.
So to give you an idea of just how bad it is.
Okay, well, okay. When you say he hasn't left Alfheim, does it mean Alfheim town or Alfheim the country?
Alfheim the country.
Because that means, because obviously there are a lot of trees to look at. You know, it's been 100 years to look at one of them.
Yes.
And he does say the long runners, while they are also fairly worldly, generally stay away from outsiders. They are amongst the furthest from the trade routes. Only one furthest is the Theodil, who were the last clan to arrive in Alfheim at the fall of the Sylvan Realm.
Right. So I don't know how you join a clan.
Well, normally
you born into it.
You can be born into it. That's, the most boring way of doing it, he says. Normally it's you find that it's the way of life you wish to lead. The clans are a culture and belief more than they are blood. Elves live for so long, they don't really care that much about parentage.
Okay.
When you get brought up by a community instead of a single parent, you think of the community as your family, not as the person who birthed you. And most elves grew up in one of the major towns of Alfheim, as the town itself looked after them.
Yeah. Well, the Erendil clan sounds the most close to me.
As well,
but if certainly if the Grenelf clan could inspire one such as Lord Treelife here, surely that would be an exemplar to follow.
Tell me about that again.
He nods in your direction. I'm just looking up the actual descriptions of them so I can give you a proper description of the clans.
No worries.
I had noted down that basically the Wood Elves.
Yeah, they are amongst the Wood Elves.
As opposed to the High Elves or whatever type of equivalents.
Because I have all the descriptions here somewhere. It's just getting the right page with them all on there because it's been a while since I've looked at it.
It might depend upon how much halfling attitude you've still got left in you.
Hey, that would probably be seen as an advantage. Okay, here we are. Here's all the different clans. So he says that the clan Chosen is in favor of outside contact and progress, as long as they can make money from it. So they're referred to as the Dwarves of Alfheim. Says clan Erindil refers to itself as the royal clan because the current king is an Erindil.
Yeah.
And presumably has been for quite some period of time.
Quite some period of time, yeah. I think there's only been about 4 kings of Alfheim in its lifetime, of about 1800 years. And they are also related to the Erwin clan who moved to Galantry. Then there is the Theodil clan, who was the most recent. They are basically Paranoid Central, he says. And what makes it even more amusing is they're the ones who the Dwarves of Rockheim annoy the most. Then his clan Granolf, they are the forest keepers. They maintain most of the forest as much as possible. So he does spend a lot of time dealing with monstrosities. The Long Runner clan, which Cool Hands here belongs to, doesn't have a lot of contact with the outside world, with Cool Hands being the main exception. The clan Meandil is
and the most beautiful representative, I might say.
And clan Meandil is the descendants of the founder of Alfheim itself. The first king, Malindil, was the first of the Red Arrows, and his clan still resides in the forest, and they claim to be superior over everyone else because, well, their clan leader became a god. So of course they're better than the rest of us, he says with Monk.
So when you say
so Ilsendil was a Red Arrow.
No, Milindil.
Milindil, yeah.
Milindil is the one who brought the elves from the Sylvan Realm to here after Ilsendil had ascended to become a god, he says.
Yeah.
Right. And is that the word for Feywild?
No, the Sylvan Realm is the second Elven kingdom, where the first Elven kingdom is known as... Sorry, give me a chance to get to that page. Was known as the Evergrun.
Right.
So the first Elven civilization known as the Evergrun, then the Sylvan Realm was the second, and Alfheim is considered the third major one.
Right.
Well, we were amongst the first of the races, he says.
Yes.
But there are Elven clans all over the place that aren't part of Alfheim. You'll find a bunch in Wendar. They are a bit more stuffy because, well, they all think of themselves as spellcasters first, and he sort of thinks you're a bit, probably a lot like your friend Dimitri here.
Okay. I was going to say, it's important that if you're going to live in Galantry, spellcasting is considered a way of life.
He says Wendar is north of Galantry, and they don't trade.
The Long Runners, what can you tell me about them?
They are, he says, well, Cool Hands here is a good representative of them, even though she is an outsider. She is treated as one of them. She is highly intelligent and helping them to understand that being part of the community of Alfheim is better than standing alone. So they have been working together far more than they have in the past due to her patience over the last 200 years, he says.
Our barkeep friend here has explained the fact that there's going to be a lot more dark-haired elves coming into Alfheim. Are they likely for particular clans?
He just shrugs. He says that there's always a small percentage of raven-haired elves amongst them, like there are white and blue, even though we don't have any of the winged elves here or the sea elves. He says it's just random chance that occasionally one of the other spheres is dominant at the child's birth. Though it is possible to change one's affiliation to a element in your lifetime.
So the dark hair is not indicative of specific clan.
It's rumored to be associated with the Shadow Elves, though we also think of Shadow Elves having white hair, not black hair.
Well, I was going to say, indeed, the Scatten Elves are definitely white-haired, mostly albino.
Says, yeah, it is a... Oh, he looks at you and goes, Scatten Elven? He hasn't heard that term before.
It's a term they use. I guess that they haven't been seen for a while.
They aren't on any of the clan lists he's seen.
Yes, they've. I certainly was. We were some distance away when we came across them.
Says he'd be wary of any of the elves who belong to clans that technically don't exist. He says there's a whole bunch of clans that went missing before the Sylvan Realm, so they could quite easily be an offshoot of them. So the original Elven royal family disappeared in the migration where Ilsundal became the next royal family. And then Malindil also became one of the royal lines. So he does not know what happened to the original Elven families.
Yeah.
History does not record them.
So this has been a most fascinating discussion, and I'd be most keen to continue it. Do your affairs? Is there a potential opportunity that your affairs might take you back home towards Ansun in the near future?
Well, he might be able to put off his duties for a little while and take a stroll through the forest. And
it would be wonderful to have some erudite company for once.
And he will let the town know that he's off to check on the state of the forest with their worries about infiltration.
Well, certainly from what I've understood, what I've heard recently, their worries are particularly well grounded. And I would think that a hero such as yourself would be most suitable to allay their fears.
Well, sometimes he's sure they just want to get him out from underneath their feet because he's too cheerful for them. He pulls out, he drinks another mug of beer and gets another one for Bradshaw.
To go with his popcorn?
Well, whatever equivalent of popcorn might be beer nuts, I don't know what else happening in this way. But anyway, I'm not sure how many beers are in, Martin, so let me know when you want to do a constitution roll. So.
Well, for you, this all tastes like lolly water. It has no alcohol content in comparison to what you're used to.
Oh, that's good. I'm just getting just 20 beers in at least by now. So
20 beers in does not even feel like you've had enough of one beer from Dwarven range.
Okay. Yeah, go the boonie.
Yeah, I'm going for the, was it 43? I can't remember. Yeah. But anyway, I'm well in just to join a company of somebody that actually I respect, outside of Plowman and Barnes' character. No, they don't go to that. There's no respect there at all. Okay, not even from the first time we met. So, but I'm feeling, I'm going. Wish more elves were like this. I'm thinking to myself this, and also feeling that I'm going. Some good things have happened today. I found that I stuck a broom up my brother's ass, who was a goat, and I said, And I've come out a good side of that, and I feel that we have learned from the experience. And got rid of the broom at the same time.
I like Bradshaw's private thoughts on what's considered a good thing. Not the, I've got my brother back. It's the, I stuck a broom on my brother's ass.
See, but remember, as I said, he wasn't a good brother either, so just saying.
Well, it's a bit hard to be a good brother with a broom there.
Well, that's not the point, man. He wasn't ever a good brother. He was pretty grumpy on a younger age when I used to know him, and I was like, he used to always pick on me, so really, I have no, while I feel, sorry that he got burnt and, chucked off a thing and has problems like that, really...
And he's been a goat for the last up to years.
Yeah, but it explains the grumpiness of, Bruce, because that very much suited my brother.
So what we're finding out, the real reason Bradshaw, he actually did in the back of his head know that he was actually the brother, but he just hated him enough that he said, no, I don't find out.
No, I had absolutely no idea, and I said...
And he keeps telling people that.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm going with that, and that's my story according to my backstory. I had no idea. I had a brother, I just didn't know where the brother was, that's all. So I was wondering why he didn't turn up at the wedding now.
Oh no, he was there.
He was there, just I didn't see him there in his real form, so... But yeah.
I'm feeling his real form, his current real form.
Oh, this is going to be an interesting story with Mum when I get back. Yeah, it's like, hey, Mum, the brother that we got missing? Well, I've been using him as goat for the last how many years?
Well, you do remember your mum telling you to look... the one thing you do remember from your mum was saying you had to look after the goat.
Yeah,
you never knew why.
I didn't kind of see the subtext of that one. I remember the look after the goat because... You have to respect the goat because you don't respect anything else in your life. I remember those conversations. But
well, you do remember the line that she gave you a long time ago that you can't come back without the goat.
True. But she didn't mention about me not doing things to the goat with brooms. But yeah.
I was going to say, is this indications that the Alfheim wine and beer is actually having an effect to help Bradshaw with his memory to remember what it was that his mother told him he had to do that would allow him to know what Barry's
that
destiny was?
That role was so bad it's not going to even have a chance. The only way I'm going to find out is going back to Rockholm, I think. So. Hey, Mum, you know that thing you told me about that I all forgot about? Can you tell me again? I'm sure that conversation's going to go really well.
Unfortunately, your mum died about 4 weeks ago. So we can't even go back to actually check it again.
What? What else have I missed with that?
So
okay. I'm sure you'll find out when we get to Rockholm.
I'm trying to work out where the water from Alfheim goes.
Well, it goes to the Weir, Sumpen Weir. All rivers lead to that.
Right.
So, the kingdom of Alfheim is an unnatural forest sustained by the magic of the elves.
Okay.
It was a swampland before they arrived.
Now, I've got some history because I did have a previous character that was an elf that kind of got lost in the underworld, which some people know about, but inner world. So she was from here, but yeah. But no, it's okay. It's I'm very happy at the bath. Finally drinking with somebody except for Plowman who can drink with me. I feel like I've got somebody else that can, hold up the kind of end of the bargain. So, but yeah.
Okay, so at this point, I might say we'll finish it up here for tonight.
I was about to say the same thing, yep.
Because I am getting a bit tired myself.
Well, it's a good spot if we're about to effectively head off towards Antun. Now that we've got a wonderful local guide someone who Dimitri can actually talk to and discuss in an intelligent fashion.
Yeah, sure, whatever. That map, is that map on the actual website, Martin, or is that your personal map?
That map is on the Durakan website. I don't know why it's not on the Alfheim one. I have to figure out what happened to that one.
Yeah, that's okay. Cool. That's all right. Just thought I'd ask. But good. Okay. So, thanks everyone for tonight. I
was also going to check up and see who will be able to make next fortnight.
I should be fine. I'll try to make in person, but if not, I'll go Skype, Martin. So
yeah, it should be fine.
27th of April. There's no expectation for me not to be there.
Yep,
I'll be there.
Yep.
All good. And I will basically put up a post tomorrow reminding people that the game is on in a fortnight and that those people said they should be able to make it.
Cool.
Thanks for letting us sit in.
That's all good. You get to enjoy the
I hope you
funny
enjoyed it.
games.
I had many comments of what I should say in that situation. So yes, I did enjoy it.
I let them do whatever they want to do, and then they pay for it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, we're a party that acts seamlessly towards our goal at all times.
Yeah, you never deter off the path.
That's right.
Oh, well, let's say it's mainly David and Mark that deter off the path, and let Jeremy try to bring it back on the right angle. But yeah. Oh, Emrys helps out as well. So yeah.
The personality of Dimitri, is that supposed to be a jerk or not?
Oh, absolutely. He's an arrogant bastard.
Like, well.
But he keeps us on track.
But okay, but the problem is that, yes, he's an arrogant bastard that thinks he knows best. Unfortunately, he usually does. It's just that he's so arrogant and problematic about it that people never listen to him.
Which is why it's always fun to have the arrogant person interact with Dimitri, because the party does a double taking going, who's the more arrogant?
Right.
Oh look, and we both Dave and I love him to get in fights with other people because we just want to see how long he lasts in a fight. So, because usually it's me and David that come in the front and try to save his ass every time. So yeah.
So picking fights with him the whole time. Just.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's part of it's a common theme in Jeremy and me. So
Obviously, it's the sort of thing that, in reality, if the others were not involved, we wouldn't get into fights. And then, obviously, when we do, Dimitri's the one that actually saves the party's backside.
And I think because they're level 9, it probably takes a lot longer for any fight to occur. It would probably take half a session to run one.
Because fights can take 2 to 4 hours to get through.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you do it by the book, a fight can easily take 8 hours.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
But obviously, it's all kind of sort of thing that sometimes I can learn very quickly. So,
yeah,
normally it's the detriment of the party.
and it depends on the situation who we're playing against, fighting against, and we try to. I think most times we try to get out of it. We try, but sometimes planning themselves might kind of take things to extremes too. Sometimes just go, let's just go into battle. So yeah, but that's what happens with a drunken dwarf and a barbarian who just likes to kill things. So yeah.
Would like to hope that people don't think that Jeremy is anything like Dimitri.
No.
But
Getting him wrong.
I do enjoy playing him.
All right. Well, thanks again, guys. Really.
Thanks very much. Good to have you.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, man.
Not all.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a good night. We'll see you next week or the week after.
Sounds good.
See you guys.
Thank you. Bye for now.